Welcome back to the Crash Space. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. It is May 23rd, 2025. It's a Friday afternoon. We got some Marvel Champions ahead of us. Glad you could drop by. It's going to be a fun one. We've been pretty busy around here recording some gameplay. It looks like we're going to have a video up, I'm hoping, every Monday if we do our job right. So we just started our magic protection expert run through Sinister Motives. It's been quite difficult. And I'll be honest, I got a comment that I have to respond to that says like, wow, how are you going to do expert Venom, Venom Goblin? How are you going to do expert Venom Goblin? And my answer is, how are we going to do expert Sinister Motives? I don't think the deck can do it. So I think we're going to have to pivot a bit and make some changes to the deck because we just don't put off consistent enough damage to not get overrun by 6 different villains. Hopefully y'all have been doing well. Today we're going to have a fun one. This is a new deck that I just put together. I haven't tried it out yet at all. This is a Storm deck in leadership, which has been, I think, the only aspect I've played Storm in. And oh my god, you play some good allies really well with Uncanny X-Men and get some good buffs by controlling the weather. I swear, if I ever get to finishing my custom Netrunner set, Jinteki's going to control the weather, and we're basically going to use this mechanic where you can get this kind of aura that impacts both sides of the table. It's a really, really cool effect. Now, today we're going to be hopefully playing 2 scenarios. We're diving into some of the encounter sets. I don't often do this. I seem to be one of the few people that just consistently plays campaign mode and likes the pre-constructed stuff. But the issue is, you don't get to touch some of the cool side scenarios or the side encounter sets that come with some of the heroes, and you don't get to mix up and make some wild adventures, and that's what we're going to be doing today. I wish I had a name to thank, but someone suggested to do the sort of all dinosaurs encounter set. So we basically have every encounter set that has dinosaurs in it. I'll show you what those are, and we're going to shuffle them together, and we're going to be playing against Zola, and Zola is going to be producing these dinosaurs and mutating them, and this might be quite difficult. If that goes okay, we might go straight to the Savage Land and fight against Magneto, maybe on standard, maybe on expert if we're feeling really confident, and have that, which is like somewhat accurate to X-Men lore, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, I don't have my pedal. Hold on. I need to get the pedal, and then I'll do a dive through what's in the deck, which, again, we just built like an hour ago. 1 second. Okay, checking if it works. Things work. Okay, we're off to the races. This is our Storm deck. Let me do a breakdown really quickly of all the cards we have in here and explain what's going on. So, Storm. Storm says that as an action, you can swap your weather support and play with a support of your choice from the weather deck. You have this set aside weather deck. It's 4 cards. These technically do one of them starts in play, but you have no way to add these to your deck. There's no more weather cards in your deck itself, but they all control the weather. Also, when we do the swap once per turn with this ability, we get to do the special ability on the weather support in play. So not only do we change the aura, we change the vibe of that turn around. We also get a little kicker. So just to show you all the cards we have here. Hey, Brennan, how's it going? Did you get your cool apiary stuff? First card that we have here is Clear Skies. Not a card. Okay, hold on. There we go. Clear Skies, it just gives every character stalwart. Very importantly, when you're playing Storm, every character means you, it means the villain, it means your allies, but also means minions. And I haven't played Storm in, it feels like, a year or so, so I don't actually know how much stun or confuse we have in the deck. We'll look at that. But giving stalwart is fine. Drawing a card is also a very powerful ability in this game, so making sure we can flip the Clear Skies every once in a while just to get an extra card draw might be pretty important. Next up, we have Blizzard. There's a couple cards with this name? No, just one. Each character gets -1 attack. That again hits the villain, it hits us and our allies as well. There is some reasons to do that, especially if you do all your attacking first and then change the weather. That means they can't attack back, and then you change it before next turn. And the special says choose a non-elite minion, and you basically blank its text box, which is quite powerful. It doesn't blank attachments, I don't think. I don't think attachments add text to their box. It is text on the attachment itself. But there's a lot of, you know, bad traits that you want to deal with. Oh no, sorry, not traits. Traits means that if it's like a dinosaur type, it'll still have dinosaur in the subline, but if it has retaliate, you do blank that, which is okay. But Blizzard is definitely all right. We have Hurricane. Hurricane says every character gains retaliate 1. This is generally going to be a problem because if we stay in Hurricane mode, because of the setup that we're choosing to play with, Zola will have retaliate 3. I have never seen Retaliate 3 in my history playing Marvel Champions, but Zola starts with Retaliate. We're playing with a Savage Land, which gives the villain Retaliate, and then Retaliate again stacks linearly, so we'll have Retaliate 3. The special in this is pretty good. Remove 2 threat from a scheme is nice, and giving our little allies Retaliate, that actually can matter, but the problem is if an ally is defeated by an attack, Retaliate doesn't matter. So we might have this for a couple turns, but we're going to have a lot of minions in this set, so giving all the minions we're attacking Retaliate, if we can't one-shot them, it's going to suck. And then finally, we have our damage one. This is Thunderstorm. Oh, I hit thunder too soon. This gives all characters +1 attack. This scales really well. Storm's stat line is not very good as much as she has upgrades to boost them. But the idea is that if we're in Thunderstorm, we actually have 3 attack, and then we immediately can do 2 damage when we flip up to this ability. This is quite good, and as long as we're dealing with the minions, Zola doesn't attack for that hard. Maybe we'll block with some minions. We are a leadership deck, but those are the weather cards, and there's a lot of ways to change them. We have a couple events in our deck that allows us to change these. Otherwise, we can change once per turn. Hey Donovan, howdy. Happy you're trying out the Jurassic Park scenario I suggested last week. That is the suggestion. Sorry, Donovan. I totally did not grab your name on vacation, so I'll check the VOD. Good luck, have fun. Hey, thank you so much. Enjoy your vacation. I think I really needed a little nudge to try out some of the weird encounter sets. I'm hoping that there's gonna be some cool interactions here, as much as I get nervous about tweaking some of the knobs behind the scenes. Okay, all right. Where's Storm? Again, we know our Storm's text. On the back, we have Aurora Monroe. I don't know what Aurora's text is. It says that you can choose when you set up a weather and put it into play. That's fine. You'll do it if you want. But otherwise, there's no actual text we care about. 6 hand size, 10 hit points, 5 hand size on the other side. 1, 2, 1 is our stat line. That's okay. So our deck, which I need to actually to review this because it's been a while. So Storm's Crown. Storm gets +1 thwart, putting her at 2 thwart. That's kind of important for solo. And solo having 2 thwart is a pretty good baseline because then you're not spending your whole turn removing the 1 threat per turn that's put on by the basic step 1 of the villain phase. And you can exhaust Storm's Crown to generate the printed resource on your weather support. Each weather support has a different trait, a different resource, and Clear Skies has the wild. I don't think this deck has any cards that care about generating a specific resource. Otherwise, this is just a resource generator. I don't think we're going to be precious about what resource it is. Storm's Cape. Classic cape design, +1 defense and aerial. We don't care about aerial, but it's nice to know that you can have that. This will put us as 2 defense, which is like still probably never worth using unless you're in a pinch. But after you resolve the special ability on a weather, you can ready Storm by exhausting the cape. That's very good. This is expensive. Might not be the most important card to get down, but it does feel good when you can't get it down. We have Aurora's Garden. This is just an alter ego action to heal 2 from your identity. Such a sleepy card. This card's fine. If you have a bit of confuse, you can jump down, heal twice, recover, heal again, go up. But like, I'm never excited about cards like that. We have Weather Goddess. This one's sick. It's a 0-cost event. We have 3 of them. And it says swap your weather support and play with a different weather support and resolve the special ability on your weather support. This means at a minimum, this is a draw a card in theory, because you can always go to Clear Skies to draw a card. And then you can always flip back with Storms once per turn. So this card is super useful. It is a 0-cost superpower, and we have mostly superpowers. So we're going to be playing some Depth Focus. Torrential Downpour or Torrential Rain. 2 costs, remove 3 threat. If Hurricane is in play, resolve its special ability, and Hurricane special ability removes 2 more threat. So this is a 2 for 5, as long as you're on the right side. And you can always control the side by using Aurora's Storm's ability. We have 3 of these. I'm really hoping Lightning Bolt is ranged. It's not. That sucks, because we have a lot of Retaliate in this scenario. But it's deal 8 damage, and then if Thunderstorm is in play, resolve its special ability. The cool thing about Thunderstorm is that it's not an attack, so you won't take Retaliate from this. So this is a nice way to do ping damage to Zola, because Zola is going to have Retaliate 2, maybe even Retaliate 3. But that is a massive amount of damage throwing out a Lightning Bolt. Oh, not you. Yeah, 8 damage for 3 is fair. We have 2 Flash Freezes. This card I actually enjoyed in certain setups. It says when the villain attacks you, you can play this as a defense event. The villain and every minion engaged with you gets -3 attack for that entire phase. That's a lot. There's a lot of minions. There's a bunch of quick strike minions. So the fact that we can flash freeze Zola, especially if we're also in Blizzard, that means that everybody has -4 attack. That's massive. It means we just won't take damage. If Blizzard's in play, we get to do a special ability, so we get to blank the text on a non-elite minion. This is a really, really good card, particularly if you don't want to die. And it means that we can actually block with our allies and they won't take a lot of damage. But if we're not taking damage, I don't think we would block at all. Blast of Wind, choose a player, deal 3 damage to the villain, and each minion engaged with that player, we can do the weather support no matter what it is. This is quite nice. There's a lot of minions in this scenario, and this is just going to blast them. I'm really surprised that these don't have ranged. I can't believe we get retaliated off of lightning or wind, but that I believe is the entirety of the kit. So it's a lot of burst events. We don't have a lot of event manipulation. I do think you can play a couple allies specifically that allow you to grab your events back, but we're playing strictly X-Men, and I'll show you what the deck is. Mites are the worst. I know it's the wrong dinosaur themed villain, but the quote, "I don't want to cure cancer, I want to turn people into dinosaurs," is so timeless. Wait, Brennan, who has that quote? Wait, whose quote is that from? All right, we're playing 9 allies. I thought that was maybe the good limit. You don't want to play too many allies, so we're on 9. They're all X-Men, and we're a leadership deck, so we want to spam out allies, so of course we are. Cyclops, 3 cost, as much as we want to play our allies for 1 cost fewer. We'll get to that in a second. 2/2 stat line for 2 health is okay, and after Cyclops enter play, we choose an enemy. That enemy takes +1 damage for every attack it takes. Seems totally fine. Kid Omega, one of the newer ones to come out. After it enters play, we can do a bunch of damage, which isn't an attack, so we get around retaliate, or we do a bunch of thwarting, totally fine, cost 2. Beast is really good. When you play Beast, you can go grab a resource from your deck or discard pile, add it back to your hand. Because we have double resources, this functionally is a 2-cost card because it gives you back a 2-cost, double a resource. So quite good, very good stats. We're playing Gentle. Gentle's not bad at all. Gentle's not good at attacking the villain, but is really good at attacking minions. And with 3 attack, that means we'll be able to one-shot a bunch of these like Velociraptors and stuff we have to deal with. And we need to control the minions. So having Gentle's going to be pretty good. I think we want a way to do chip damage. I do think there's a fair bit of toughness in this scenario. So hopefully things like Kid Omega will be able to like take toughness off, because I think a lot of the encounter cards come in with toughness. We have Pixie. Pixie's fine. Very importantly, Pixie's ability fires after you play from your hand. We have a lot of ways to cheat allies in, or we have a couple ways to cheat allies in, but Pixie is very cheap, and we can add an X-Men ally from a discard pile to our hand, and that's quite fine. We're on some neutrals. We're on Beak. I like Beak a lot. I don't know if we're going to have a bigger problem with damage than thwarting. I think damage might be a bigger issue, but otherwise when Beak comes into play, we remove a bunch of threat equal to the amount of X-Men allies we have. That should be up to 4. We have Triage, which does a bit of healing. Same kind of idea, little X-Men support. More cheap X-Men. We have Forge, who allows us to grab an X-Men or X-Force support. We have a couple of those. And of course, we're playing Prof X, because every deck I've played on this channel has always played Prof X. We have 2 side schemes. One of them I've played a lot. It's Call for Backup. When we complete this, and it only has 3, we can go grab an ally from our deck and put it into play. That means we can go get the most expensive ally like Beast and then get a double resource back. Otherwise, we can go get Prof X or whatever we want. It actually might make sense for us to put another expensive ally into the deck just so that we have a good target for Call for Backup, like play the most expensive X-Men we can find. Otherwise, it's just kind of Beast that's the big hit. Maybe sometimes Cyclops. Maybe we should be a bit more toolboxy with this. We have a bunch of just like value allies. Now, I've never played this card. This is New Recruits. This came out relatively late in the cycle. I think this was the last, in the Magneto pack. And so you can only play this if you're an X-Men, which we are. And when defeated, each player chooses one of the set aside new allies and adds it to their hand. Not puts into play, but adds it into their hand. And there's 4 of these, and they're all like pretty symmetrical. They're all 2 health, 2 cost, 2 2s with 1 consequential. And then they all have like pretty minimal effects. Like Anol here says, hold on. That it gets +1 thwart. None of them count against your ally limit. That's good. Then one of them has +1 attack. One of them has +2 health. One of them has toughness. Like, I'm actually surprised. I don't feel like this is a good enough reward for new recruits. That being said, we'll do it. And we get good value from playing X-Men allies, and having a cheap X-Men ally with reasonable stats is totally fine. But I was like kind of underwhelmed with what these cards were. They do not seem like they're worth the effort. But ideally, your deck wants to play X-Men allies, gets benefits from that. And sometimes clearing side schemes is good for you. But whatever. We'll just see what it looks like. Hey Pat, Jurassic Park, we're doing fan content, not fan content. We're just building our own scenario by putting together an existing hero with existing encounter sets and building something you're allowed to do within the rules of the game. But it's a lot of dinosaurs and genetically modified dinosaurs on top of it. How you doing, buddy? You ready for stream tomorrow? Sauron said that to Spider-Man if memory serves. Okay, well, we have Sauron there, but oh my god. This card's really good. We played this before on the channel. Search the top 5 cards of your deck for an X-Men and put into play. At the end of the phase, it returns to your hand. That's after you discard and draw back up to hand size, so you actually have an extra card. Very powerful. Almost all of our X-Men's have when enter play abilities that are relevant, so we can get that value and then play the card again on the following turn. The only one that doesn't is Pixie. We have to watch out about Pixie, but we're playing 3 copies. This card is so busted that I think we might want to consider playing 2 of them because it's so important to get on the table. It costs 3. It's a leadership card. It's our 1 team in the deck. And it says each of our X-Men allies gets +1 hit point. That's already really good, as much as Retaliate 2 might be a problem. But more importantly, if every character we have is an X-Men, all allies cost 1 fewer resource to play. That's absurd. It's just really, really good. This is one of the best teams in the whole damn game. It's hard not to play this if you're playing X-Men leadership. Like, of course you do. The one thing you have to watch out for is if you're ever in alter ego, Storm on the backside, like all X-Men, is not an X-Men. She's a mutant. So we have a way to deal with that. But otherwise, this should be online all the time because all the characters we have in our deck are X-Men. But there's a chance playing 2 of these is correct because it's so important to hit the table because it just gives you resource savings on every single ally, let alone the +1 health commander. Utopia, if you're playing X-Men allies, this readies you when an X-Men comes in, or readies another X-Men when an X-Men comes in. That will happen a lot. We're on the X-Jet. We do have 1 resource generator in Aurora's kit and Storm's kit, but that's fine. We also have team building exercise, which if all we are playing is X-Men, that's totally okay. This is the card we're playing. I honestly don't like the design of these cards because what it's meant to do versus what it does in practice is like totally two different things. There's an honorary card for almost every team in the game so far. You attach it to a friendly character, they can only have one, and you can only play it if you're an X-Men, so you can like, you know, knight someone to be an X-Men. And then the attached character not only gets +1 hit points, which is fine, kind of mid, but kind of fine, they also gain the X-Men trait. So unfortunately what people do with this card is that they'll play it on themselves. And now, obviously, this gives Storm +1 health and makes her a double X-Men. But the reason why you do this is when you flip down to Alter Ego, Aurora is still an X-Men, which means the problem we run into where we lose our X-Men status, so our X-Men team falls apart when we return to our mutant state, you keep that. So while this card seems like, oh, I'm going to attach this to a certain ally so they get an X-Men trait, so I can put them in the danger room and give them a cool suit or whatever. Like, that's just not what you do. Generally in solo, at least, it just doesn't make sense unless you're playing a dedicated Voltron build. And even then, it might not be worth the slots. But you just play it on yourself. Sick. I mean, like, whatever. Very, very weird flavor kind of miss. X-Chain, I've been playing this a lot. It's just something cheap. We want to play an Alter Ego. It gives us one resource. Our deck is all events, really. So that's really, really good. Depth Focus as well. I believe every event in our deck is a superpower. Some of them cost nothing, but might as well get a resource a turn. I like my resource generators. And then we'll finish off with our 3 double resources and 2 power of leaderships. Those are cards that just generate 2 resources for leadership cards, of which I think we have enough for that to be relevant. I think we need about 7 cards in our deck to feel good about that. We actually might be a bit short on that. We have Uncanny, we have Pixie, Gentle, Beast, Kid, Omega, and Cyclops. Actually, it might be right to take one of these out of the deck. I think I'm going to do that because the deck is 41 cards, but I'm realizing in hindsight, I think we just don't have enough 2-cost plus blue cards for that to be a good hit. Yeah, we don't. I think we need generally about like somewhere between 6 and 8 to play 2 of these and feel okay about it numerically. An ally doesn't count against your limit seems useful in the right deck. I mean, it's fine. The thing is, like, there's other ways to give yourself +1 ally limit, right? Like, if we really wanted to do it, we could play the Triskelion, which, again, it's not super necessary. We already have +1 ally limit when we're playing Utopia. We already have +1 ally limit when we're playing our team. It's like, do we need the 6th ally? Probably not. We're a leadership deck. We have to block with our allies, so they don't even stay around for that much longer. I don't know. Mixed bag. Not my favorite, but it's fine. It's okay. I think it was an Elliot Callan written issue. He's been a fave of mine for a while. All right, let's talk about what we're playing against. We're playing against Zola. So we're playing against Zola 2 because we're going to be starting on Expert. I guess we should start with the Island of Dr. Zola. So I haven't done this in a long time, but we're going to ignore the recommended encounter sets. So we have Zola 2 and 3 and standard. And instead of playing under attack, we're actually going to play 3 encounter sets. This means that the deck is going to be bigger. This is the problem, that adding your own encounter sets to a deck sometimes can make the encounter set easier. It's not very obvious if things get easier or more difficult, because the issue is under attack, if I'm not mistaken, is like 4 to 5 cards. And instead of adding 4 to 5 cards to the encounter deck, we're adding, I think like 13, 14. Which means the fact that Zola won't consistently hit Zola's thing, like Zola's shtick won't be firing as consistently as we'll be drawing dinosaurs. So it's up to you to decide, is dinosaurs worse for us or better for us than Zola? I can't tell. I think what I'd mostly recommend is if you're going to take an encounter set, is like if the encounter set has 6 cards in it, replace it with a similar encounter set that has 6 cards. If that encounter set had 4 minions, find one of the other 4 minion encounter sets and swap that in. And that will at least preserve the difficulty that was intended. That being said, you can go ahead and make things easier. You can make things harder. There's no police here. Nobody cares. You can do whatever you want. But I just want to say that at the front that I'm a bit nervous to do this because we are going to dilute the deck. And so the chance that Zola hits a thing that lines up with an attachment that lines up with something else, we'll figure out how consistently that happens or not. The setup here says search encounter deck for Hydra Prism, put in play. We'll talk about that. The card unfortunately does nothing against us. Awkward. Each player searches the encounter deck for a copy of Ultimate Bioservant and puts it into play, engaged with them, shuffled in counter deck. This is our friend, the Ultimate Bioservant. So ultimate, 4 health, toughness, schemes for 1 attack for 1, and gets +1 attack for each attachment on it. This is the issue, is we're diluting the amount of attachments per card, so we might have problems where this is less consistent. Now, what encounter sets are we shuffling in? Because we're not doing under attack, which is from the core set. This game kind of launched the way that you expected Arkham Horror to launch, where Arkham Horror reuses the encounter sets from the core set pretty consistently. Like every campaign uses a handful of the encounter sets from the core set. I wish they sold extra copies of those cards, but Marvel Champions doesn't do it. If I'm not mistaken, it was only the first box that came out, Rise of the Red Skull, the one that technically Zola's from, that reused encounter sets from the first set. Otherwise, they didn't, which is kind of awkward because technically, barring standard, there are standalone products you could play. Like Age of Apocalypse, you can play entirely as a standalone product. The only thing is you don't have tokens. But otherwise, all the cards to play it are in there because you don't actually need any cards from the core set, barring, some deck building problems. Happy to be joining in, JS. Welcome. The quality of these videos are so good. Thank you for the kind words. We've been working hard. I've been fighting with the color of this. I think it's okay right now. I'm hopefully going to upgrade the webcam soon. That's a part that I don't like. But you want to talk about a cool upgrade we added? We have this now. I set this up so we can start looking at encounter sets. We're playing the Savage Land. 5 minions. We start with the Savage Land, which is going to have a setup text that's never going to move. And so I can actually bring up the other encounter sets. The other encounter set I wanted to add is the one with the Tyrannosaurus Rex on it, which is temporal. Unfortunately, that deck has like 8 cards in it or 7 cards in it. And this is the only one I want. So instead of adding 8 cards to the deck, I'm just adding the Tyrannosaurus Rex. So that's going to go in there. So that'll just be the one big dinosaur. And then we also have Sauron, which is one of these single minion decks that have a lot of treacheries and attachments and side schemes that deal with Sauron. I've never played against Sauron, who's going to be the other dinosaur. So these are all the cards we're going to be shuffling in alongside the Savage Land, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Sauron. We're playing Standard 3 and Expert. So this deck is going to be pretty damn big, and we'll put all of these together. Yeah, this is bigger than Zola normally is. We've added maybe 12.5 extra cards, but give me 1 second to shuffle this out. And I guess we can look at the other stuff here. Hey, Jake, how's it going? Yo, Jason, nice pop-up. Thank you. I made all those for video stuff, and I was like, wait, I can just put these into the stream. Why not? Let's flip this over. The Island of Dr. Zola. This has the mechanic that gets constantly reused about it accruing power counters, and then once you hit a certain threshold, it blows up and something bad happens. Very important to remember that if you advance the scheme, all the power counters on it are removed. I love that they actually call these power counters. No, they call them test counters. Sorry, they don't. I think the word power counters does show up at some point. But this is the Island of Dr. Zola. It only has a small threshold of 6. That's pretty low for solo. But after resolving step 1 of the villain phase, so that's where we put 1 threat per player on this, you add a test counter. And then if there are 3 or more test counters on this, you discard cards from the top of the counter deck until a minion is discarded. And then you put that minion into play and remove 3 test counters. Very importantly, put into play means no on reveal effects. But because we've added a bunch of dinosaurs, I do think the dinosaurs are now actually outnumbering the amount of like biomutants. So we're saying Zola here is has been experimenting on dinosaurs. And we'll work with that. That's kind of it. Let's talk about Zola 2 while I shuffle. So Zola 2 says 14 health, scheme for 2, attack for 2, retaliate 1. Savage Land gives retaliate 2. That's what these are if you can't read them. We're streaming 1440. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for the test subject side scheme and reveal it, which we have. And then I'll show you the side schemes and the Savage Land. And then we're mostly ready to go. We'll just have to do our shuffle and mulligan. So we have Hydra Prison. This one doesn't matter. We'll just ignore it. This actually has like relevance if you play in campaign mode, if you don't clear this. It says when revealed, each player searches their deck, discard pile in hand for a hero specific ally and places it face down, add additional threat here. Storm is one of the few characters that just doesn't have a hero specific ally. Storm fights alone as much as the deck is actually all about not fighting alone because the weather actually scales better with more players you can control. So this actually does literally nothing. When defeated, remove the scheme from the game and return each ally beneath it to its owner's hand. We're never going to clear this, just so that if we draw a master plan on Expert, we'll have a place to dump the extra counter, so I don't care. Now we have test subjects. This one we are going to have to get rid of very quickly. Test subjects only has 2 threat. In the fate worse than death. When defeated, the first player discards cards from the top of the counter deck until they discard probably a dinosaur, and then you reveal that minion. This has a hazard icon. We want to clear that as soon as possible. So it's very likely with Storm on turn 1, we'll jump to Hurricane mode that removes 2 threat just so we can clear this in a shot because Storm only has 1 threat on her own side. Okay, Savage Land is our last stop here. I feel like in the videos that I've been putting together, I've been spending the first 10 minutes doing setup, and I'm beginning to realize maybe I don't do that. And then we just start the game and assume that you understand the setup of the scenario. Please give me feedback on that because the videos are getting longer and longer. And like the first 10 minutes where I explain how you set up Sandman, like maybe people don't care. Maybe they're just jumping to the timestamp where the gameplay is. I make it so you can do that. But if that's the case, let me know if the setup has no interest. Like I try and produce this in a way so someone who doesn't know Marvel Champions can get into this game. But like, I don't know how many people like that are watching. I guess actually a fair bit are because of the way that this became a kind of side channel. All right, the Savage Land. It's going to start in play. It's not going to go anywhere. The villain gains retaliate 1. As a special, discard the top 3 cards of your deck. There's not going to be a lot of effects that fire that. That is something that's more attached to the scenario this came from. So we might never fire that. But all we have to care is that when revealed, it has a setting and the villain gains retaliate 1. That's fine. Boost icons doesn't matter. There's no way to get this back into the deck, so that's fair. I'm a timestamp jumper. Yeah, Jake, I believe it. I honestly probably would be too, because I know how the setup works. So I just don't know whether it's worth the time. And a shorter video, I think, is easier to click on. So I might try one where I don't do the setup. What are you most excited for in the current shield cycle? Oh man, Jason, it's hard to tell. It's like probably Winter Soldier, which is a surprise for me. I don't think I know much about that character, but the design is exactly the sort of like solo aggression design that I think is like works, which is good. We got the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. box. I probably should do a video about the box. I probably should play a bit more of it now that's been a couple months, especially on solo. I think the box was honestly a bit of a bummer. In solo, it was a kind of a miss. A lot of the scenarios are a miss. A lot of the solo mechanics are a miss for me. The campaign mechanics are a massive miss for me, which is a bummer. I feel like Age of Apocalypse also had campaign mechanics that I just ignore after I started playing the box a couple times. I'll never play them again. And I want to be very clear, Age of Apocalypse is one of my favorite boxes, but yeah, the Shield box has not been a high point for me. I think I like 1.5 scenarios in it, as much as I think they're probably better if you play more than solo. So just not for me. We still don't have Shuri and Silk. Canada just doesn't have it. It feels like it's been a month already, and we just don't have the cards. I thought there was a chance we'd have it this weekend, but we don't. So I can't even say. Shuri and Silk both look really good. I haven't played Scenario 5 because of the convoluted setup. Yeah, the setup sucks. It's bad. I don't know. I only played in campaign mode, so the setup wasn't that bad. If you play it outside of campaign mode, you have to bring in all these cards that just don't feel that interesting anyways. I don't know. I was like so hyped. Age of Apocalypse is such a good campaign box. I had really high hopes for a shield, and it just is a pretty big miss for me. I'm not sure what's worth changing, though, for new player barrier of entry. Maybe for campaign setup, mention what different than a 10-second debrief of regular setup. We've got a crisis icon, etc. Yeah, Jake, I think that's pretty fair. Like, I'll say, okay, because of campaign setup, we have 10 experience, so we have to put this into play, we have to put this in play, we start with a minion, but I won't do this whole setup. I do have to read what the cards say. Like, you have to know the text of this, so that's kind of like half the setup. So, honestly, maybe it saves no time. I don't know, but at least on these live streams, it's a bit more conversational, so I can talk through it. Well, starting here in Aurora, okay, very important on Aurora's side, we have to decide which weather we want to start in. Now, none of the weathers actually have text that matters which side you start in, because we're ideally going to jump up and then use the text on a different weather, because on the storm side, once per turn, you can switch the weather and do a special ability. So I think Hurricane is kind of fine. I imagine like setting it to Hurricane on turn 1 is pretty good, because we can clear test subjects and then we will have Retaliate 1. So when the ultimate Bioservant, which is here on the table, attacks us, wait, does this actually slide to it? Kind of. Wait, does this do that? Oh, this does that. I should have a button that slides between this two, because I don't think that works. No. Anyways, it'll take the toughness off on its own, and I don't think we care being attacked for 1. So I think we'll start in, we don't care what side we'll start in, and then we'll end up in Hurricane side. So we have to do this before we mulligan, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to start in Blizzard mode. Actually, no, I guess I could start in, none of these matter. Yeah, we'll just start in Clear Skies. It's kind of funny. And then suddenly it becomes a Hurricane. So I'm going to put my weather cards here and hopefully not forget them. Wait, is after mulligan? Setup is after mulligan? Is that true? Wait, is that how you end up with like Captain Shield in your hand or some stuff? I thought it wasn't after mulligan. To the tomes. So what's the order? So play order, it's like at the end, right? It's like on the last page. Sorry, I don't have the window open. I have to do this. I think they added a chart at the bottom. How do you jump to? Okay, hold on. It should be here. Appendix. Resolve mulligans, resolve character set of abilities. Oh, wow. It is the last thing. I'm surprised by that. So, oh, because the Wolverine's claws are set aside, right? Because you can't start with Wolverine's claws in your hand. So setup is the last thing. Resolve mulligan, resolve setup. Okay, that's really good to know. Thank you for pointing that out. I should have checked. Sometimes I get too confident, and that's a bit of an insidious falling. Already prepared with the rules reference pop-up, very slick. Yeah, we've been trying to make this nice. Let's draw 6 cards and then decide what weather to do, but I don't think it's going to change. All right, we have a genius. Love a genius. We'll start with a genius. We have a beak. Beak is not particularly great as your opening card, because Beak scales with the amount of friends Beak gets. Barnell. XJet. I think XJet Genius is like I would say a conservative start, as much as it is good to get that set up. To me, my X-Men is almost always worth keeping. If we get an ally on turn 1, what are we doing with it? Actually, maybe we don't even get an ally on turn 1. I think an ally on turn 1, like, what's the best case that we have? I'll put this in the maybe camp. We'll see the rest of the hand, but I actually like attacking to ultimate bioservant that has toughness while we're giving every enemy. Well, I guess we don't get +1 attack. Yeah, that's maybe fine. Aurora's Garden, like, you know my thoughts on this. I don't think I want that. And another double. So if we keep this, we can play 5th card and energy into X-Jet. X-Jet can do to me my X-Men, and then if we draw a 2-cost card, we can play it perfectly. Best case scenario would be a weather card of some sort. Excuse me, I dropped something. Weather Goddess, that's good. So now Torrential Rain. Oh, okay. So now we actually get a full bit of agency, and I get overwhelmed that we haven't played Storm in a while. So Torrential Rain says that we can do 3 threat from a thing. And we can actually clear more threat because we'll be in hurricane mode, but we don't care about that. Weather Goddess will allow us to like ping 2 damage. So Weather Goddess allows you to change your weather twice in a turn, and you can do the special on that. So we could always like change to clear skies to draw. I think there's a chance that I think we want to 2-me my X-Men first. We'll Thunderstorm the damage off of Ultimate Bioservant. Then we'll use 2-me my X-Men to attack this, and then we'll change to Hurricane. So I think all we have to do is start in a form that is not... that is neither the damage one, Thunderstorm, or it's not Hurricane. I think we're fine. Wolverine can't start with Claws in hand. Trigger Nerd Confusion. So wait, what is the text on Wolverine's Claws? Are they set aside? Permanent. Oh, wait. Is that even a setup on Logan? Search your deck and discard pile. Oh, yeah, so you can just have it in your hand? Wait, what? That's really ugly. I think they changed that. I like the Garden for the kind of free recoveries you can thwart before changing to Alter Ego. Yeah, it's not bad. It's just like I don't want it on turn 1 where I want to set up more aggressively and I can't, like I obviously can't recover because we have full health. But it's like not a bad card. It's just like not a card I'm excited about. I think there's so many cooler cards that do like, oh, a bit of recovery plus some other thing on it. Like every set or every kit seems to have one of those cards, which is like, oh, this is your recovery card. But it's also often the worst card in the kit, right? Like Logan's Cabin is another really bad offender. This is just such a bummer of an ability. Like I like shuffle cards that add cards back into your discard pile, especially because Logan has some really strong events. But it's just like, you never want to be an Alter Ego that consistently if you're playing solo, so you can't get away with it. And at the end of the day, like if that ability is busted strong, you'll flip down. If it's incidental, I probably won't play the card. Yeah. Yeah, there's an errata for Wolverine's Claws. That's I'm aware of. Okay, so Aurora Monroe will start here and we'll plan our turn. So, oh, we have to throw the Torrential Rain. That's fine. So we'll pitch Energy and Torrential Rain for the X-Jet. This just gives us a resource a turn as long as we're in X-Men mode, which shouldn't be a problem. I'm used to putting my discard pile here because of, we've been playing a bunch of discard pile matters stuff. And now we're going to flip up. So we're going to flip up to Storm. Storm's text says that once, oh, other Storm. Once a turn, we can fire the special ability. Hey, Ludmilla, catching up on the latest Metro VOD, only to realize you're live over here. How is a girl meant to keep up? Yo, you left a bunch of messages, and I don't know whether to use your name or your handle, because I know your name well, but if your handle is different, I feel strange. I'm glad you're getting to Marvel Champions. Hopefully we're explaining things in a way that makes sense. I trust you well, huh? The difference between solo and every other format is frustrating. Deck builds typically have to be quite a bit different. Yes. And I've been surprised how much I like solo. I don't even play two-handed. And it just like I look at certain cards and think like this is an unplayably bad card because in solo it doesn't make sense. But if you play cooperatively with multiplayer, you can focus on certain things and then like the sky's the limit. That's kind of neat. Love how bonkers the 90s was. Remember when Magneto tore out Wolverine's adamantium and his healing factor turned him into a caveman? No. But I actually don't know that much about like that era. I've read very few comic books. Okay, so currently we have Stalwart. That's fine. I want to ping this with damage. So I'm going to do Weather Goddess. Oh, wait. Are we more worried about the thing that comes in with test subjects? Yeah, well, maybe we're more worried about the thing that comes in with test subjects. So if that's the case, we actually should start in Hurricane mode. No, start in any other mode. And then we become Hurricane mode, which adds a minion. And then we can choose to Weather Goddess that minion. I think that's probably the play. The issue is if we end up on Thunderstorm mode. everything attacks us worse. So we probably don't. Whoa, hold on. So what do we want to do here? So here currently, we can take the toughness off for 2. That's fine. And then we can Weather Goddess to do a big lightning bolt. Then we Tumima X-Men. And then the X-Men will probably finish the Bioservant. And then we can go to the test subject and then just have an ally or have a random minion and hope it's not the worst. I think we will do that. So I guess we waste damage no matter what we do. So I will start with X-Jet for Tumima X-Men. So this just says, look at the top 5 or search the top 5. Cyclops is good. So Pixie's the one that we don't want to play. We can play this ally for free. So we're going to play Cyclops, and then these cards get shuffled back. We have to remember that Cyclops will be added back to our hand at the end of the round, which is totally not a problem. And we get that past our hand size. Mila is what I usually go by online, but Ludmilla or Tender are both fine. It doesn't matter to me at all. That's much, whatever is most natural for you. It's more so like some people have their names as their like YouTube handles or whatever, but then they change it when they realize like, oh, that's bad OPSEC. So it's not so much about what's like, you know, natural for me, but more so what would be bad. Like some people want to hide their names, but yeah, Mila makes a lot of sense. Stormby changing the weather, like changing channels right now. I lived in that era, mostly Batman though. Okay, so Cyclops in play. When we play Leadership Cyclops, we can pick a character, an enemy, and the enemy will take 1 more damage from each attack. So we're going to do Ultimate Bioservant. So the Bioservant will take 1 more damage from each attack. Here, it's a bit awkward. So Storm will just attack for 2. So we take the toughness off. Then Cyclops is going to attack for what turns out to be 3 damage to the Bioservant. Then we're going to do Weather Goddess. Yeah. No. We did this wrong. So Cyclops is not going to attack. Oh, God. What is Cyclops doing if not attacking? No, Cyclops is not attacking. So this is at 3. No, it's at 4. Cyclops is not attacking? Oh, no. We messed the turn up because we didn't know it was going to come off the top. Because now, in theory, I think we want a Weather Goddess first. For Hurricane. Hurricane says... So we have a couple things. So it says swap the weather support, then do its special. I want to make sure I'm reading this. Play a support of your choice from the weather deck, resolve the special. So we'll do Hurricane. Hurricane says remove 2 threat from a scheme. So we'll move 2 threat from test subjects. Test subjects, I believe, is still up. It says the first player discards cards from the top of the counter deck until they discard a minion and reveal it. Okay. It's a Berserk Mutate. All right, so this has Quick Strike. So it's going to try and attack us for 3. Or sorry, for 2. We have Retaliate. We are just going to take the damage. So we'll take 2. We go down to 2. It takes 1 off of Retaliate. Okay. Now, if Cyclops attacks this, now, why do I have this genius in my hand? Wait, did we just have an extra resource? Yeah, we did. Okay, wild. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use Storm's once per turn ability to change the weather again. And we're going to change to Thunderstorm. Might be a problem. And then when we change to this, we deal 2 damage to an enemy. So that will shock the mutate. And now Cyclops, every character has +1 attack, including us. So Cyclops will attack. So Cyclops does 1, 2, 3 for Thunderstorm, 4 because of Cyclops' ability, and that defeats the Ultimate Bioservant. The problem is now Zola is attacking for 3 in a card, and that I'm not excited about, but that cleared the board at least on turn 1. So maybe we feel good about that. We'll hold on to the Genius. We really want to draw the defense event that we have. So we'll do Uncanny X-Men, great draw, Strength, the Cape, last card's Torrential Rain, and then Cyclops gets added back to our hand. Good news on the front, Mila isn't my government name. Got him, okay. Hopefully that's good news. All right, so this goes to 1. We add 1 counter here. And now Zola's attacking for 3 and a card. We could block for 1. We could also just take the damage and then wish that we had the Garden to jump down to. This hand is reasonable. We're probably going to have to change the weather to the card draw 1 is my guess. I think we could probably afford to jump down for a single turn and like lick our wounds a bit. But our hand is good. I just don't want to defend for 1. Defending for 1 is really rough when we can jump down and heal for 3. So I'm not going to defend. So it's 1, 2 because of the Thunderstorm 3. It's Master Plan. Bummer. I wanted to draw that card because it doesn't do anything. And so we take 5 damage. We're down to 3 health already on turn 1. Quick Strike would be a problem. All All right, I'm glad the dinosaur dream is alive and well. It is a tough Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, luckily, the dinosaur doesn't know how to scheme, so we can jump down to alter ego, no problem. But we do have the biggest possible dinosaur on turn 1, so that's good. It's alive and well. The dream that we wanted is working out. Okay, so it's back to us. We have the X-Jet. We have Uncanny X-Men. So if we play Uncanny X-Men, we can play Cyclops for 1. Is it the Uncanny X-Men? No. Nope, not you. Okay, so +1 hit points is okay. We technically don't need to deal with this dinosaur. We can change the weather. If we change the weather, we can draw a card. So let's just plan this out. If we do Strength into Storm's Cape with X-Jet, then once we change the weather, we can ready ourselves with Storm's Cape. So we could definitely at least thwart 1. We could attack for 3 into the toughness. That feels a bit bad. Then we probably need to play Uncanny X-Men. That costs 3, and then Cyclops would cost 2. So that's a bit of an awkward hand. If we draw a card, does that change anything? Because if we change the weather, we'll draw a card. And so if we had one more card, does that actually change what we can do here? We probably won't play on Uncanny X-Men. We'll just hold it. But if we draw a card here, we'll have this. Maybe we can play this card. But I think no matter what, this is how we start. So we'll play Stormscape as a double. Stormcape gives us +1 defense, my favorite stat. As much as we're not really a defense-based deck. And it says that after you use a special ability on a weather support, we can exhaust this to ready Storm. So we're just going to use Storm's text here. Actually, we're going to activate first. But we're going to activate. We're going to probably thwart for 1. We can also attack for 2 and then attack for... Well, technically attack for 3 and attack for 2. Now I'll just clear this because we're jumping down. And then we're going to use Storm's ability to change the weather. And I think we're just going to go and clear the skies up. So with clear skies, everyone has Stalwart. So no one can get stunned. That's fine. And then we draw a card. We've fired the basic ability. Oh, that's good, but also bad. So we'll exhaust this to ready Storm. Cool. So what does this change? Dinosaurs don't know how to scheme. Andre being flippantly specious. I mean, that's one of the cool things about dinosaurs. We have to flip this. We paid 1, 2, 3. Yeah, excuse me. Okay, so if we play Prof X, we can stun the Tyrannosaurus Rex, but it's not a really good play because we lose the chump block on it, and that's kind of what you want to do. We need to jump down and heal, or we could stay in toe-to-toe the Tyrannosaurus, which is also like a funny option. Torrential Rain does nothing, so we probably just set up with like the Uncanny X-Men, so we could do 1, 2... We could keep Rain for next turn because we're going to have some threading to do, but then I'd rather keep Prof X, especially because we've played Uncanny. So we could do 1, 2... 3 into Uncanny. This hand sucks. This hand is just kind of a stinker. I went through a lot of maybe names online before I started officially transitioning, and when Mila struck from my internet life, I went with a different one, IRL, OPSEC preserved. Oh, cool. Yeah, the name choice thing, I reckon, is I would lose a lot of sleep over that. That's a hard one. Okay. What are we doing here? I want to play X-Men. Maybe we don't, just so we use more of our hand. So maybe we actually do start working on the Tyrannosaurus Rex. We do 1, 2, 3 for Cyclops. No matter what, we're holding 2 cards, it seems like. Hey, Nanako the cat. That's not great. We want to recover. So the thing is, like, what do we want to put on the table this turn? Do we want to set up with Uncanny X-Men while we have a double in our hand? I think we do, but then we just play no allies, and I feel bad about that. But I think that's what we have to do here. We might scheme out, right? Like, it's hard to stop that. So I think we'll just play Uncanny X-Men and hold. We can also just like, no, Rain does nothing. If the Tyrannosaurus loses toughness, it doesn't leave the tough status card, right? So we'll do 1, 2, 3 into Uncanny. Nan, are you going to go visit? She's trying to climb on the table. She's a bit off camera. So all the X-Men allies gets +1 hit point. Not that we have any. But next turn, we'll definitely have at least 1. I don't think we'll hold on to Cyclops. We'll hold on to Professor X. If that's the case, I'd rather hold on to Torrential Rain. But actually, Professor X is probably enough thwarting. So this is fine. We'll flip down. And when we flip... Hi, Nanako the cat. What are you doing, friend? Oh, we'll just recover for 3. Hey, little friend. What are you doing? You want to play? All right, we'll drop to 6. Hi, baby. Hey, Nanako. Yeah, Maddie is at... She's not often in the office on Fridays, but she is today. We got Storm's Crown, +1 thwart is good. We can generate a resource, that's fine. To me, my X-Men's almost always going to be good, and we have the X-Gene, which lines up really well from being an alter ego. Let's see if we unfortunately tap out on this side or advance the main scheme. All right, this goes to 1, this goes to 2. Zola's going to scheme for 2 and a card, so we have to get lucky that's not a triple. It is a triple. Hate to see that. So that's going to be 5, so we do advance. At least we advanced with 2 counters on it, so we clear the counters. I do think it starts with 1, but we are at the worst spot now. We might have not wanted to flip down. I don't know how many big boosts there are in this set that we've built, but we'll hold on. Zola's mutate attacks you with blind obedience and savage fury. It's up to you to put an end to the nightmare before the Mad Doctor unleashes them upon the world, them being dinosaurs. Each player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a minion and reveals it. Shuffle the encounter deck. All right, reveals it. I think we're just going to go for the 0-3 because it has Quick Strike, and we won't take Quick Strike when we're down here. Apologies, it's not a dinosaur, but I think this is what we want. Finally, one of these Meat Space Play videos mirrors my actual board game experience. If there's not at least one cat trying to lay on the pieces, are you really playing? Nanako's actually really good. She doesn't get involved in board games or card games. My sister's cat, Humphrey, is a problem that he actually has to be put in technical jail, where we ask my sister if we're playing Arkham Horror with her husband, be like, please take Humphrey upstairs and let him hang out with you. So this is the mutate. It has Quick Strike, so we don't have to worry about that. It has 0 scheme. That's also really good right now because this will still activate. So I don't want to put in something that has high threat or high scheme because in theory the villain's activated. These have to activate as well. Now the back of the Mad Doctor says it comes in with 1 threat. I think it has the exact same text. After resolving step 1 of the villain phase, place 1 test counter here. If there are 3 or more test counters here, discard cards. Yeah, it's the same text. And if this completes, we lose the game. Might get schemed out? Yeah, by dinosaurs. All right, Tyrannosaurus schemes for 0. Berserk schemes for 0. Our card is... Wow, look at all those dinosaurs. I was worried this was going to happen, that we're going to have too many minions too quickly. So that's a lot of minions. That is some minions. Now we do... Oh my god, we have Blast of Wind here? So Blast of Wind says choose a player, deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with that player. This is not an attack as well, so it will get around Retaliate, which is pretty good. But as long as we can take the toughness off the Tyrannosaurus Rex, this Blast of Wind just goofs these guys up, which is really quite good. So I thought we were going to have to play Professor X. We're not going to. So I think we want to play 1 ally to deal with the Tyrannosaur's toughness, and then it's very likely that the Blast of Wind will blast through it. Okay, so resources. We're ready. I think we can have 3 attack. I don't think we're going to recover here. I think we're too far behind. We can consider it. But we'll bin Professor X at a minimum to play X-Gene. In theory, Storm's Crown might be worth it. I think we have to do the math first. Okay. We have a ready. So we want to wake up, do something, and then flip. So I think we'll wake up, take the toughness off, and then we're going to be able to blow through this. So we play this for 1 card with X-Gene. That will leave us with 2 cards. So we'll play Cyclops into To Me, My X-Men, and we'll hold on to the Crown. If that is the case, we'd rather play the Crown than the X-Gene, but the X-Gene we can only play on this side. But the Crown is technically a better card. So again, if we play the Crown instead, we don't have this. So this is 1, 2, no. No, we can't. So this is perfect. We'll flip up. We're on Storm side. Nana's cleaning really good. So I think we're just going to attack for 2 to take the toughness off the Tyrannosaurus. The T-Rex that exhausts us. And then we're going to use our ability to change the weather. I honestly don't know what weather we want to change to. Remove 2 threat from a scheme is fine. Retaliate 1 is not going to matter too much. Thunderstorm is bad because we have Zola attacking us. We will have a minion to block. No, we won't because it'll be returned to our hand. So we might just go for Blizzard. It gives each character -1 attack. Is that going to matter? Because we're going to do 3 damage to the Tyrannosaurus. Attacks have piercing, by the way. Okay, hello again. Thank you. You can't come onto my lap. I have a keyboard. Where do you think you're going to go? Okay, bye now. All right. What side do we change to? I guess we have to change. Thunderstorm's like pretty extra. We could just do Hurricane. Hurricane should be fine. Yeah, I think we'll just do Hurricane. So remove 2 threat from a scheme. We can use Cape to ready Storm. Then we're going to exhaust X-Gene and the X-Jet. And then we'll throw out Cyclops to play the Blast of Wind. Blast of Wind says, choose a player, this guy. Deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with that player. And because this is not attack, you don't take Retaliate. Resolve the special ability on your weather support. Oh, it does that. So actually, let's play this before we change so that we have clear skies. So we haven't changed yet. So we're like this. So that we can get clear skies to draw a card. No, we don't need a card draw. So that's fine. It's fine. We were on Hurricane. No, let's just do it. Let's do Thunderstorm. So when we change to Thunderstorm, we ready ourselves. That does 2 damage to the Rex. Okay. Then we play Blast of Wind. That does 3 damage to everyone. And then we do the special again, so that deals with the dinosaur. Okay, that clearly dealt with the table. The problem is Zola's attacking for 3 in a card. So we might have wanted to consider recovering there. Last thing that we'll do is we'll pitch Storm's Crown to play To Me, My X-Men, search the top 5. We have Blast of Wind, Lightning Bolt, Triage, that's perfect for some healing. Beast gets us a resource which we don't need, and new recruits. So we'll put Triage into play. After Triage enters play, heal 2 damage, so we'll recover 2. We're on 8. And then if Triage attacks, Triage will be defeated by Retaliate 2. So I think Triage is going to do nothing. We're still ready. We couldn't have recovered because the ordering matters. I don't want to clear Hydra Prison because I'm okay if there's a side scheme in play. We have 3 attack though. Maybe we should just do 3 attack. Should we just do 3 attack into 14? Zola doesn't have a lot of health, but I feel like because of Retaliate 2, we probably shouldn't be trading 3 damage into 2 damage. We should probably have to do like a Lightning Bolt or something pretty big. So I think we're going to hold. Okay, 1 second. Technical issues? No, we're good. All right, we'll just pass. So we wasted a couple things, but that's fine. We'll drop. We could have probably recovered there. We have Kid Omega, Torrential Rain for some threat, Weather Goddess for some changing, Team Building Exercise, and Forge. I'm so used to flipping the top of my deck because I've been playing so much Magic. This goes to 1. This gets a power counter, or a test counter, excuse me. And then Zola's attacking for 3 in a card. This is added back to her hand at the end of the phase. 3 in a card. We block for 2. I think our activation is not very good here, so I will block for 2. We don't have Retaliate. Boost icon on Ultimate Bioservant. Says, give the villain a tough status card. Okay, so Zola is tough again. And that is only 3 damage, so we'll take 1. Next card. Mind Ray. This will get confused, right? Zola attacks you. No, you are stunned. So we can get rid of this by jumping to clear skies. But Zola's attacking now for 3 in a card. So hopefully we can't die, but it looks like it's going to be 3 more boost icons. So we're down to 1 health again. Oh boy, we definitely have been like getting cooked by our own Thunderstorm. So we're on 1 health. In theory, if we attack into Retaliate, we do just flatline. Oh, that's good. Oh, we actually could have attacked for 1 because we had Uncanny X-Men gives our X-Men allies +1 health. So Triage actually had 3 health, which means with Triage, we could have attacked. Triage would have gone down to 1 health for Retaliate. So I'll just do 1 damage to Zola. Okay, it's back to us. We need to flip down. Getting rid of the stun is one thing. If we do the Weather Goddess, we ready and we draw a card and we get rid of our stun, which is fine. 8th threat is pretty good. We don't have a Confuse in our hand, I don't think. No, we don't. But I think we need to start doing some chip damage. So I think we'll start here for sure with Weather Goddess. This just allows us to swap your weather support with a different one, do its basic ability. So we'll jump to Clear Skies, which gives us Stalwart, and then we draw a card. We drew Pixie. Stormscape says when we do a special, we get to draw a card. Okay. So if we play Pixie for 2, we can grab, or sorry, for 1 because of Uncanny X-Men, we can go grab an X-Men ally from our discard pile and add it to our hand. We probably should go for Prof X for the Confuse and flip down. I think that's kind of fine. We don't have that much else to do here besides recover. So healing with Triage is also kind of okay, but I don't actually want to play that many of these cards. As much as this is a 1 cost, this is a 1 cost card. These are all 1 cost cards. So let's just plan the turn out. If we play Pixie for 1, we can play Pixie for free with X-Jet, get back Prof X. We could Team Building Exercise and then play Prof X. That's kind of fine, actually. And then we'll be like fully set up with all our resource generators. Just about. So we'll X-Jet to play Pixie for 1. I want to go on record to say Pixie? I feel like this art. It's not my favorite. I think this artist is pretty maligned by a lot of folks that does this pixie art. I don't know the name. I know there's a big conversation about this artist. After you play Pixie, choose an X-Men ally from your discard pile and add it to your hand. Notice this one doesn't say after Pixie enters play, so you have to play her from your hand. So we have Prof X. She has 1 thwart, so I guess Prof X is a bit of a waste here. Do we get Prof X? I feel like this Retaliate 2 thing is going to be a huge issue unless we get our lightning bolts, which are coming up. I mean, I guess the Confuse is still the best thing we can do here. Okay. I'm going to pitch Torrential Rain and Kid Omega for the team building exercise. This is an action to let us play a card, reducing its cost by 1 as long as it shares a trait. So if it's an X-Men, we're good to go. We'll use the team building exercise. And so now we'll play Professor X for only 1. So I'll throw out Forge because this reduces by 1. This reduces by 1. We pay 1. So Professor X comes into play. When Prof X comes into play, we will confuse the villain. Prof X will thwart for 3, taking 1 consequential. Clearing that out. Pixie won't do anything. We'll flip down and we'll recover 3. We wanted that garden, didn't we? We'll hold on to Triage for some cheap healing. Triage costs 1. Our allies are really, really good. And then we'll just pass. We actually could maybe stay up and not flip down because Prof X blocks really well and we're losing the Prof X value. That actually might be fine here. And we have Pixie as a blocker, yeah, so maybe we won't hop down. The problem is like we don't do anything with our basic activation, but flipping down when you have Prof X feels like a bit of a waste because this was just a Confuse and 1 threat. At least with the Confuse, we don't get a... No, we always get a counter no matter what. Yeah, this is fine. We'll drop. So we'll hold on to some cheap healing. We got the new recruits. We might work on that. Gentle, very good to get on the table. Deals with allies, or deals with minions. We have a lightning bolt. That's the damage we need to do Zola. So we'll take the toughness off, probably with Pixie. Utopia sick, get some cheap readies. And then we have Call for Backup, which can get us... We got our Hurricanes out, which sucks, but that will let us deal with... our Torrential Rains. That will let us grab Beast, probably. This goes to 1. Clear Skies gives Zola Stalwart as well. Oh my god. Poetic, you're totally right. Yeah, you're right. Zola can't be confused. Okay, so that play was so scuffed. So what we're going to do is we're not going to recover 3. Hold on. I'll put this card. This was the last card we drew. I'll put that back. We'll shuffle. And we're not going to flip down. This Prof X was definitely not the play, but we have to like course correct here. So we will take 3 damage and we'll just pass the turn here on 1 health. There's no under attack anymore so that we can't take the damage. But yeah, I guess we have to do this and just chump block. So this goes to 1. This goes to 2. Stupid Clear Skies. Zola's attacking for 2 in a card. We'll block with Prof X. It's Shuffle Zola's Mutate into the counter deck. Okay. No boost icons. So that means Prof X actually survives. Because Prof X had +1 health. Yeah, I need to remember that. Having a bit of confused with the Clear Skies is not a great place to be. Then our encounter card is Neurological Link. Neurological Implants. Attach to the minion with the most hit points. If you cannot gain Surge, it gains Surge. Sauron. Uh-oh. I have never drawn this. It's good to draw this important card. I think we have to search the deck for another card here. This is Sauron. Sauron comes into play. When revealed, search and counter deck and discard pile for life drain attachment and reveal it. I don't know what that's going to do, but that's probably not good for us. 6 health, 2/2. So some very healthy numbers. So life drain. It's good that there's more encounters in here, or sorry, more attachments. This deck does care about it. There's only 1 in the deck. Attach to the minion with the highest printed hit points. It activates against you. If no minion activated this way, this card gains Surge. When attached minion attacks you, take 2 damage and give the attacking enemy a tough status card. Oh, good game. We lose. All right, let's clean this up and do it again. Yeah, so we just take 2 damage and die. Because attached enemy attacks you, that means when it initiates the attack, I think? Or does that mean that after we block with an ally, it's no longer attacking you? I think it attacks us, and then we decide whether to block with. So I think this just kills us. Not many cards that would just kill us there, but yeah, we found one of the cards that does like 2 damage at no cost. Okay, that's a bummer. We did goof that whole turn up. Like, obviously, we don't play Prof X there. We should have got some healing in. So if we schedule that turn around playing Triage, yeah. So we just misplayed everything. We'll just shuffle it back and do again. That wasn't that bad. I think we can do this for sure. The Retaliate 2 is a problem. There's no way around that. All right. Roll it back. Feels bad. It's okay. It's okay. We did 2 very aggressive lightning pushes, and we ended up taking more damage to lightning than the minions did. We did no damage to Zola. Garden, lol. Yeah, I know, right? But we couldn't really flip down. Every time we flipped down, we lost. That's like a bit of a solo problem, is that the turn that we did flip down, we got unlucky on a 3 boost, and the 3 boost just cost us the entire first scheme, which is like, that's how solo is. It's not the worst. All right, so this is going to flip back. This thing just says that we have to go grab Ultimate Bioservant. This comes in with no threat and no test counters. Then we have to search the deck for 1 Ultimate Bioservant and then 1 copy of the test subjects, which we will delete, hopefully on round 1. This comes in with 4 toughness. And we'll run it back. Cool. Okay, what did we learn? We got some big beasts very quickly. Zola ended up doing a lot of damage to us. Like, Zola actually hit pretty hard. I think Zola 1 only attacks for 1, or maybe I'm thinking of MODOK that has like a kind of similar vibe. But we did take a fair bit of damage. That's the issue with like 2 Mima X-Men, is you don't have blockers, and maybe with Aurora we can block a bit. As soon as we have 2 defense, then it starts to make some amount of sense. We'll just shuffle and send it back. Talking about how solo is, with the scenario videos you've been putting up, how often do you beef it and then have to run it back for the video? It's a weird thing to talk about, because clearly if I've uploaded the video, it seems like I've won. And I do think I need to upload some videos that get close and I lose, but then I don't know if I want to upload another video of like playing against Venom again. It depends on the difficulty. It depends on the scenario. Sinister Motives right now has been really hard. So Venom is the next one. Spoilers, this one that is uploaded, I do win that one, but it was my 3rd shot at Venom and I didn't change the deck. After Venom, I played Mysterio. I beat Mysterio on the first try. However, I think there's some technical issues with the footage, so I'm going to have to record it, re-record it. I don't like how the footage turned out. The audio, the microphone is just not tilted the right way, so my voice sounds like kind of muffled. Maybe that's a me problem. So that one I'll have to probably play again. I did play Sinister Motives once and got so bodied to the point that I have to make substantial changes to the deck. Because fundamentally, this is the problem that I'm running into, is like, what happens if I can't beat Sinister Motives, or I can't beat on Expert Venom Goblin, which are the 4th and 5th scenarios in that campaign that are very hard. Specifically Venom Goblin is very hard. I think the deck just doesn't have enough burst damage that we can't like consistently deal with the many different villains that show up in Sinister 6, and that means we have to restructure the whole deck. I think there's a chance that if I had the new card in the Silk deck that allows you to do damage based off of your defense stat, maybe we could do some burst damage. I think that actually works out okay with Magic. But I can't tell. Like, there's a chance that the series I'll have to jump to Standard at some point, because Expert actually is a massive jump in difficulty in that campaign. Not only because the cards have text, like Sinister 6, the villains don't get different. These cards are shuffling strange. Is everything okay? But there's a bunch of encounter cards that have different text if you play on Expert, and those cards are getting me. There's like a lot of surge. The fact that you start with a hazard icon on turn 1 also is like pretty difficult. All right, run it back. Weather Goddess. This card can do 2 damage. It can draw a card. It can do anything. I'll put it in the maybe camp. Let's just get Life Drain out of there. We have Triage. Don't want to keep Triage. We don't need healing on turn 1. Honorary X-Men. I don't think we want to keep that. That's only good if we're setting up. We have a Blast of Wind. This is the AoE card. It's a bummer to see this that early, but I don't think we want to play 3 to do 3 damage. Oh, we did 3 damage to Zola. No, we did hit Zola. Take that, Zola. Oh, that's me. No, set 10, villain set 14. Depth Focus, we'll keep that. That gives you a cheap research generator. Almost all our cards are superpowers, as much as some of them do cost 0. And then our last card is Utopia. Utopia is also a very good setup card. This is something we would have grabbed with Forge if we didn't goof that turn up. This hand is not phenomenal. All we need to do is test subjects, which we can deal with Weather Goddess. And then we need to deal with the Ultimate Bioservant and whatever this brings out. Starting with 2 or 3 encounters, turn 1 seems really rough. It's so bad. And it's like, that's kind of the thing. It's like weird because it doesn't fix some of the problems perceived with Marvel Champions, which is like Marvel Champions, once you're set up, that's when the game should get harder, if you ask me. Because once you're set up, like if you watch the stream where we play Domino, once we're set up, we're doing so much per every round that like the villain has to do a lot to keep up with you. I do like encounter sets like this and like Magneto, where it's like, oh, you have 1 turn, you have 2 turn, and then the villain has a high tempo turn. You have 1 turn, you have 2 turn, and then the villain has a high tempo turn. That naturally lines up really well because you have these sort of ebbs and waves that make it exciting. But Sinister Motives, it just starts out really, really bad. incredibly bad, but if you can get around that, then you can defeat the scenario. It makes the early game exciting, but the problem is like it does feel like it lines up backwards to how I would rather have it, where I'd rather have the early game to be reasonable and then it scales up with difficulty as you scale to setup. But more so it feels like, oh, the hill's immediate, but once you get over that, then you're doing okay. I don't know. Mixed feelings. Oh, are we keeping this hand? I guess we are. New recruits, bummer. It only has 2 threat though. Oh, that's why, because the sleeve is ripped. Are multiple sleeves ripped in this? This was shuffling strangely. Hold on, I need to get a sleeve for this. I'll just play it out with a ripped sleeve. It's fine. We'll get this when we shuffle. Actually, I'll just swap this with a sleeve on the side. I felt like something was weird. I think a corner was catching during the shuffle. Kid Omega is actually not bad in our opening, because if we play Kid Omega, as long as we spend an energy resource, we can do a damage to each enemy. That will take the toughness off the ultimate Bioservant. I'm not sure if that's worth 1 resource. It does 1 damage to Zola, which is not really a big deal. But we definitely have a playable hand here. The question is, how do we play this hand? New recruits, not super excited to get this down. It just adds the card to our hand, which is like not incredibly important if we can't play the card. It doesn't put into play, which I feel like it should. Adds it to your hand. That's kind of disappointing. This is not a hard scheme though. I just feel for 1 more, I can go get any ally from my deck and play it for free. I just don't understand this card, but maybe it will make sense once we have a bit more of a setup. Okay, so we want to get rid of test subjects because drawing another card is probably a non-starter. What can we do here? We can play Utopia cheaply. That means we can jump up, take the toughness off. We can Weather Goddess to do 2 more damage. I want to make sure that we don't end in the +1 attack mode for Zola because that's been cooking us. So I think we can Weather Goddess into Hurricane mode lastly, but that will deal with the test subjects. At least if we're in Hurricane mode, we'll have -1 attack on the thing that comes in. If that's the case though, why play Utopia unless we play Kid Omega? So maybe then we also play Kid Omega and hope that the card that we draw into has one of those 2 icons. This means that we don't set up with Deft Focus, which I kind of want to set up with Deft Focus, but having an ally on turn 1 is probably a bit more important. And we get a 3rd ready from our deck. Yeah, we'll probably try this. So there's nothing we have to do down here. So we have to decide which weather we're in. So before we play a card. So whatever weather we're in, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to flip out of this. So we want to start in the one that we don't want to be in. So I guess we'll give everyone -1 attack because that's funny. So we're in Blizzard. We'll flip up with Aurora, and Aurora will attack 1, taking the toughness off. Okay. Then we will Weather Goddess. So swap the weather. So we're going to jump to, we'll try Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm says deal 2 damage to an enemy. So we'll ping the ultimate Bioservant for 2 damage. And now every character has +1 attack. We're going to go ahead and play 2 for the Utopia. Utopia says that when we play an X-Men once per round, we can exhaust this to ready an X-Men. And we have another ally for X-Men, for all X-Men. And then here, we probably just change the weather immediately. And see what comes from test subjects, because then we can decide whether we ping the Bioservant or what comes from this. So what does we do on the Hurricane? It gives us -1 attack. Okay, so I don't think we do that. I think we're now going to play 2 for Kid Omega. And we're just not going to do Kid Omega's kicker. Kid Omega comes in with 2 health. The kicker attacks we don't get access to. We're going to Utopia to ready ourselves. Then we'll use Kid Omega, takes 1 consequential to defeat the Bioservant. And then with us, we're going to use our Storm ability to change the weather, and we'll change to Hurricane. Hurricane says remove 2 threat, so we'll remove from test subjects, which means we have to discard cards and reveal the topmost minion. Sinister Strike is out. Okay, some pain inhibitors. This might take a moment. Oh, look, some dinosaurs. Sauron lives. It's a Berserk Mutate. Okay, so we have Retaliate, but Berserk Mutate is going to immediately attack us because it has Quick Strike. Do not know how to spell the name Berserk. So it's going to be attacking us for 3, but we have Retaliate. We actually can defeat it. So Berserk Mutate will attack us for 3. We will just take the 3 damage. Sorry, for the 2 damage, we'll take the 2 damage. So we go down to 2. It takes 1 on Retaliate. And then we'll attack back for 2 because we're ready. That defeats the Mutate. And we don't take Retaliate because we defeated. That was a good turn 1. And we're in Hurricane mode, so at least we'll have Retaliate here. Okay. Kid Omega is our chump blocker if we need it. Let's keep drawing. We didn't get any resource generators, but we'll find. Speaking of resource generators, this one we have to play an alter ego. We have some rain if we want to. Lightning bolt for mad damage. We definitely need to play every lightning bolt into Zola that we can, just so that we can beat Zola. We have a genius, which is good, and then we have a 2 meme X-Men, which is perfect because we have no X-Men, so we can at least play something and ready ourselves with Utopia. Utopia says that it's when an X-Men enters play. Yeah, so that actually works. It's not plays from hand, which is important. So this goes to 1. This gets a test counter. Zola is going to attack for 2 and a card. We have retaliate, so if we don't block, Zola will take a damage. We're at 8. The most we can take is 5 damage. We've been taking 5 damage swings pretty consistently. Now, if we block with Kid Omega, we lose Kid Omega. Do we need Kid Omega? Is Kid Omega better as a blocker? We don't really have anything to do 2 damage to. I think I'm just going to block with Kid Omega. I feel like this block is going to be better than the 2 thwart or 2 attack. Boost, it's Evil Alliance, so we just put 1 counter on Pursued by the Past. When this hits 4, we grab our Nemesis. And Kid Omega, unfortunately that was only 2 damage, but that defeats the kid. Almost the wrong encounter, man. Top card is Zola's Experiment. Okay. This side scheme, Forced, comes in with 3 threat. The Mad Doctor never grows tired of experimenting on his victims. Force responds, after the minion enters play, attach a topmost tech attachment in the counter discard pile to the minion. We're not allowed to shuffle the discard pile. That's a weird thing. There's technically no techs in here now. That being said, we can get one off the boost, which is like, you know, a problem. The acceleration icon is kind of important, but this is not a huge priority. This is on the, like, maybe we'll deal with this camp. Laurel, no one needs Kid Omega. What can you tell me about Kid Omega? I know nothing about Kid Omega. Youch. The attack or the nobody needing Kid Omega? So Rain can clear the Zola's experiments. That might be a cheap way to do it. I think here, are the sleeves good? Yeah, the sleeves are good. We can start with Storm. Everything has retaliate 1, so we can change the weather immediately. If we change the weather, we can take 2 off of Zola's experiments, 1 with Storm. I think we're better off to change to... What mode are we going to end up in? Because we don't have a blocker here. I think I'd rather do Lightning Bolt, which can do 10 damage to Zola, and we'll take 2 back. That's probably the play. If we do 2 Mima X-Men first, we can ready ourselves after, and then if we get, in theory, if we get Cyclops, that can do an additional damage for the 1 attack. But I'm assuming we definitely want to play this card for 3. And then we just 2 Mima X-Men, so that'll be our whole turn. If we play this, we can ready ourselves, so we have to decide what we want to do first. We probably just thwart for 1. And then if things are really bad, we can jump down. We'll thwart for 1. Then will we change the weather? Changing the weather does 4 extra damage. I think we will. So we're going to use Storm's ability to change the weather. It's now a Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm does 2 damage to an enemy because we do the special. This is not an attack, so we don't take retaliate. Joel, how's it going? And then we're going to play Lightning Bolt. I can't believe this doesn't have ranged. Lightning. Nope. Deal 8 damage to an enemy. So Zola will take 8. We take 2 off retaliate. And then it says if Thunderstorm is in play, resolve its special ability. So we do 2 more Zolas on 2 health. Next, we're going to do To Me, My X-Men. In theory, we should have done this first. So this says look at the top 5 and play an X-Men. We only have one option. It is Gentle. Not a great option, but definitely an option. So Gentle comes into play for free. We can ready ourselves. So Gentle comes in with 3 health. Has a massive attack, but takes in another consequential damage when you're attacking the villain. That means that with the Retaliate 2, we will be defeated because Zola 3 has Retaliate as well, so you actually take the Retaliate. But otherwise, we could one-shot Zola on turn 2, which is pretty good. We might just thwart for 1 here. That's probably reasonable as well. If we jump down, it's actually not unlikely we advance. This is not the worst time to advance because, firstly, we can go grab one of the Quick Strike minions, and this will be a 2 test counters, so we'll lose 2 test counters. So we actually might flip down here and recover. We could attack for 2 on our own to defeat Zola, but we also take 2 because of this damn Retaliate 2. If Gentle's defeated, it doesn't get added back to my hand because To Me, My X-Men says only if the thing survives, right? If it's still in play, yeah. So if that's the case, I think we'll just use Gentle to deal 1 with this. I think we would consider jumping down here because this will go to 2, 3, 4. If we get a 2 boost, then we're cooked, or a 3 boost, we're cooked. But if not, I think if it advances is not the worst thing because we'll have Gentle ready to deal with the minion. So I'll flip down and we'll just recover for 3. Up at 9, we'll pass. Gentle goes back to our hand after we drop to hand size, so we'll have 7 cards. We have the Cape, we have Beast, team building exercise. We have no research generators. I feel so poor. This is 6 cards, Weather Goddess, and 7th card will be Beak as well, who's not actually feeling that good in this deck. We're not having too many minions on the table because we're playing To Me, My X-Men. Maybe it'll work out, but I do think we just have to rush out our team a card sooner than later. All right, this goes to 2. This goes to 2. And Zola schemes for 2 and a card. 2 boost icons perfectly, so this advances. The back of this is the Mad Doctor. When revealed, each player searches the counter deck and discard pile for a minion and reveals its shuffled in counter deck. I think T-Rex is on the bottom. I'm just going to go for a mutate because it has quick strike and quick strike won't fire here. And because the way that this advanced, the minions are still to activate. So grabbing something with 0 scheme is pretty reasonable because the villain activates, then all minions engaged with you activate. So I don't want to put more threat on the main scheme. The back of this has the same text functionally, but if this advances, we lose. And it comes in with 1, has threshold is slightly higher. Berserk activates, that's 0. We draw an encounter card. It's an ultimate bioservant. Okay. So we have a couple minions. This one comes in with 4 health and toughness. Luckily, we didn't get any. Oh, hold on. After a minion enters play, attach the top tech card. There are none in the discard pile. So we have to remember that this does have text. We've been ignoring it. All right. So we are a bit behind on the board. Let's catch up on chat. Started off as a smarmy know-it-all with big psi powers and a drug addiction before they bumped him to an Omega level mutant, and now he's more bearable. He wears great shirts though. Wait, what is his shirt? I know he's wearing a graphic tee. Bring Cyclops back. Okay, that's sick. I'm imagining Quentin is young, right? Quentin Quire? That's not a real name. Okay, so looking at our board, looking at our hand, we have some issues. We have access to Torrential Rain, which, I mean, that does threat. We don't really need that. We don't have any AoE damage, but Weather Goddess could get us somewhere. Because Weather Goddess puts us to 3 attacks, so we can one-shot the Berserk Mutate. We can do lightning damage to take off the Ultimate Bioservant, and then we should have a cheap blocker. Beak getting rid of Zola's experiments would be pretty good. So we might, once again, go on not play any air research generators. So if we play Gentle for 3, say something like this, then we can play Beak for 2. But then we can't draw Weather Goddess. And I think we don't actually need Weather Goddess. I think we might just be able to flip up. Oh, we're already in Thunderstorm, though, so we can't flip up. Like, we can't Thunderstorm again. So if we flip up, we attack for 3. Gentle attacks for 4. Beak can take the toughness off. This is kind of doable. What is this pile? What is this pile about? This is not a playable pile. Oh, no, it's for Gentle. So this is 3 for Gentle. The other options, we can play Beast for 4. So say that we do something like 1, 2, 3, 4. We can play Beast. Beast gets us a double. We can use the double to play Beak. And then we can still hold on to Weather Goddess. That's another option as well. That gives us more minions on the table, or the same amount of minions, I think. That actually might be a bit better. Because then Beast attacks for 3. We can ping this off. We'll be able to change the weather twice, which seems kind of useful. So we can get rid of the Zolas. I like the champions that came on later that give you a lot of agency with how you play. The fact that we have 2 weather swaps is like the coolest thing. And of course, if this is not obvious, the big thing about playing a weather deck is that it hits all players on the table. So I had a great time playing Storm with my partner. And so that if she played minions, I can change the weather. And very importantly, these are actions, and you can do hero actions on your opponent's turn, or your not opponents, your allies' turn. You can always interrupt with actions, which is great. He started a punk riot revolution in the X-Mansion and his gang captured and subdued Profex with a baseball bat, all to impress a girl and deal emotionally with finding out he was adopted. His outfits do wicked rock, though. Days of Future Past, Magneto's right, Magneto was left, that sort of thing. If I want to catch up on like good comics from any certain era, like how do you modernly do it? Without like, unfortunately, I don't have a space to grab a lot of paper or books. Like you just have a tablet and then you subscribe to something. Like how does somebody get into it? Because I wouldn't mind doing that. Okay, I think we're just going to go for the Beast play. So this is... We need to keep Beak. We want to keep Beast. We want to keep Weather Goddess. So we play 4 for Beast. Beast gets a double that plays Beak. Beak removes 2 threat. Yeah, let's game. Let's go. So, what is our turn here? We're on nearly full health. I'm not the person to ask you. Okay. All right, that's technically an option. 100% it. What is Brennan? Oh, what app is it though? I spent all my very limited money on video games. What have you been playing? If you have limited money, I've been playing Dead Island 2, which I got for free on the Epic Store the other day, and like it's totally fine for honestly pretty good for a free game. You can go with authors you find you like and see what runs they've done. Hey Coke, is there like a recommendation place where you can be like, I enjoyed these, and they'll like recommend to you something else you'd probably enjoy? We have 3 attack. We can take out the Berserk Mutate. I think that's fine. So with Thunderstorm, we attack for 3. The Mutate is cooked. Comics are for nerds. Read new X-Men. Okay. All right. We'll do 1, 2. 3, 4, F our resource generators. We'll play Beast. When Beast comes into play, search your deck and discard pile. I'm going to search for a discard pile because I don't mind drawing a double. And then Beast is here. We can Utopia to ready ourselves. It might make sense to ready another X-Men. A minion. This comes in with 3 health and comes in with 2/2. Okay, I think now we just do double for our Beaky boy. Beak comes into play. And Beak says, after Beak enters play from your hand. Oh, this is another enters play from your hand. Oh, enters play from your hand. No, that just means you can't recursion spam, but that still works. Oh, actually, no. To me, my X-Men is not from your hand. Remove 1 threat from a scheme for each X-Men ally you control. We control 2. So we get rid of Zola's experiments. That's not a bad place to be. Okay, so now we have 2 changes of the weather. I'm assuming Beak will attack to take the toughness off. The Beak attacks for 2. Toughness comes off. We probably want to end on the retaliate side. So I'm going to use Storm's ability. No, we're first going to attack with Storm for 3. Actually, it doesn't really matter. It's a wash. But we could change to Clear Skies doesn't matter. Blizzard's not very good. So I think we want to do change to... We want to end in Hurricane. Because Zola is hitting itself pretty bad. We could also just change to Blizzard and like take the attacks from Zola. That's also kind of fine. I think Blizzard's also pretty good. We haven't drawn any of our Blizzard defense cards. I like these cards a lot. So we're on Thunderstorm now. Drawing a card with Clear Skies means we can just throw the card out. It's like fine. But I don't think it actually has a huge change. So I guess we'll change to Hurricane. So when we change to Hurricane, we're using our basic activation here. It says remove 2 threat. So we'll clear this out. This one doesn't matter. It's just vestigial. Then we'll attack for 2. Beast will attack for 2. And then we'll do Weather Goddess to change the weather one more time. And then we'll change to Blizzard. So each character gets -1 attack. And we'll pass. So we'll just take this attack to the chin. It shouldn't be that bad. We're at full health, -1 attack. Now this is each character, including ourselves, but we'll go. If you want to get weird, Grant Morrison. I know of the name. I don't know why. You can probably find forums or posts where people suggest those things. But for example, Matt Fraction did a beloved run on Hawkeye. If you like that, you might enjoy other things he's done. Well, I'm always playing a bunch of stuff. Right now, I'm on Talented, which is a wave-based bullet heaven type game like Vampire Survivors or 20 Minutes Until Dawn. Instead of careful movement, you're stuck in one place and have to aim. The gimmick is that every night you progress along a procedurally generated infinite talent tree. Oh, I think I might have seen someone play that. That sounds all right. You want to read some brilliant work, parts of which have aged questionably? Alan Moore. I've read Watchmen. I don't know if I've read other Alan Moore stuff. Blast of Wind, AoE. Power of Leadership, okay. Storm's Crown is fine. We need a resource generator. Weather Goddess, okay, control the weather. And then we have an X-Jet. So we drew a couple resource generators, no allies in this hand, which means Utopia kind of stinks. And we have no blue cards for Power of Leadership. So not a great hand. All right, this goes to 1. This goes to 1. Zola attacks for 1 in a card. I think we'll block it with our face, which means we won't block it. Okay, life drain. So that's 3 damage. We take 3. We don't have retaliate. Our encounter card is technological enhancements. Insight 1. That puts 1 threat on the main scheme. Put 1 test counter on the main scheme. Okay, so next turn we'll get a minion. That's fine. So we can maybe stay in Blizzard mode if we wanted to. Next up is either Thronebreaker, Witcher Tales, or Aces and Adventures. And the next game I will probably buy is Beneath Oresa. That game looks fun as hell. It's really quite good. I've actually played a whole bunch of Aces and Adventures. Is that the deck building, but you play with a 52? Sort of like small roguelike adventure game. I played a heck of a lot of that, if that's the game I think it is. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was pretty sweet. Okay, what happens on Zola 3? Because we could just advance right now. In the Alan Moore comic where the hot young woman gets it with some kind of monster, that's all of them, isn't it? So Zola 3 still has Retaliate. Each player searches the counter deck and discard pile for a minion and reveals it. So we have Blast of Wind, so that might not be the worst time to advance. So if we want to attack Zola for 2 damage, we'll get to Zola 3. Zola 3 has 16 health. Barely changes. This hand is not phenomenal. We might want to start with a Weather Goddess just to draw a card, because if we find an ally, it gives us a lot of value. So we could Weather Goddess just to draw a card here. We also Weather Goddess to take the 2 threat off of here, but I think we're okay. I think we're going to start with the Weather Goddess to draw cards. Yeah, even a blue card would be nice. So Weather Goddess, we'll change the weather. It's going to be a clear skies. The special says draw a card. Pixie, okay, hold on. Now we're cooking. So now we want to activate. Unfortunately, again, retaliate 2. We can't get around that. So I think we're going to attack for 2. So Storm is going to attack for 2. So we take 2 damage off retaliate 2, but the villain is defeated. And so we go to Zola 3. There's been a big change in how I used to sleeve Marvel Champions, and I think it shows you the habits that I've changed this year specifically, where I played too much on Standard and too little on Expert, and I'm noticing when I'm winning like 90% of the time, I probably should just push it up to Expert. And I used to have it so it was Zola 1 and Zola 2 would be in the same sleeve, and now it's Zola 3 and 2 in the same sleeve because I'm more often playing on Expert. And if you don't do that, it's so much better. You just flip the thing over. It's really easy. Zola 3, we have 16 health. When revealed, each player searches the counter deck and discard pile for a minute and reveals it. So you have to do the reveal text. I don't know if there's somebody that we specifically want to get out of here. Probably not the T-Rex, let's be honest. Zola's mutate is discard cards for attachments. Giant Ape is do this setting. That's 5 health. That's a lot. Velociraptor has Quick Strike. Oh, they all have Quick Strike. Oh, they're bad. When revealed, resolve the special. We could get it to Pterosaur. That's kind of fun. We have Beak to take the toughness off the Bioservant, but we'll have 2 enemies in a second. Are we going to defeat the Pterosaur? Yeah, we definitely are. We'll go for the Pterosaur. That's a fun thing to get. The Pterosaur comes into play. When revealed, resolve the special ability on the setting environment. It's been such a long time, I forget what that is. Turns out the Savage Land says discard the top 3 cards of your deck. So we lose Lightning Bolt, we lose Aurora's Garden, and we lose 2 Mima X-Men. That's fine. You enjoyed Watchmen V for Vendetta from Hella? Great. I haven't read V. I've obviously, well, not obviously, I saw the film. I was a teenage boy 15 years ago. Like, that's kind of lined up well, didn't it? That's a poker roguelike narrative adventure game. I got it on the mega sale and I'm looking forward to it. Oh, it's really, really great. It's really, really good. I think you'll enjoy it. As for comics, I'm way more of a DC girly than a Marvel girly, but a lot of the new Star Wars comics have been really good. Dr. Aphra and the run of Vader comics starting in 2015 were excellent. So, okay, this is going to show my ignorance again, but like, do comic books come out every month? How are comic books released modernly? Like, when they say a run, is it like Bone, where there's like a Bone book every like 4 months if you're lucky? Not that I read Bone when it was coming out. All right, this is our board state. We have changed the weather manually with Weather Goddess, so we still have 1 weather change. So we need to deal with a Pterosaur. I think we're definitely going to play Pixie, which will get a card back. The question is whether we blast a wind or not. I don't think we need to, so we'll Power of Leadership for Pixie. When Pixie enters play, we can go grab a card from our bin. Comes in with 2 health and is ready. We can grab an X-Men ally and add it to your hand. So we might go for Triage here if he's available. That shouldn't be in here. Oh, there was an attachment. I don't know when I drew that. That seemed deep in our deck. We might have had an attachment in the bin, so we might have goofed that. My God, my discipline between getting into the wrong discard pile is like so frustrating. We have a Triage. I think we'll grab a Triage. I think that's the only X-Men ally we'd consider. Gentle's not bad. Kid Omega's not bad either. Triage seems fine. So this is in our hand. So now we can either blast a wind for 3 damage and to Zola, not taking retaliate. If we play Triage, we float, but we do get a ready. So then Beast can solo the Pterosaur, which is a fun sentence. We're 1 resource short of doing something really cool. So we could put down Storm's Crown. We also can change once more. I think we want to change to the Hurricane. Give us retaliate 1, remove 2 threat from a scheme. But I think we'll do that after we do our stuff. So we can still attack for 2. So I think we will attack for 2 to the Pterosaur. Oh, our ally slots are full. That shouldn't be a big issue. So I think we play Triage to heal. We will Beak for 1. Beak gets knocked out. We'll then play Triage for... I'm going to keep the Blast of Wind because we're going to get a minion off of this. So I'll throw this out. This is the least amount of resource generators I've played in a single game, and it's actually working out okay for us. We'll play Triage. Triage heals an X-Men for 2, so it could be our minions, or our allies, excuse me. We'll heal 2 ourselves. Utopia readies... We'll go for us. Excuse me. The Wicked and Divine, one of my favorite comic series, was monthly. Oh, that seems good. Mostly monthly, but you can get a collection rather than bother with following on the regular. That's all the comics I have, are like in compendiums or almanacs or whatever. There's a good term for that. Okay, so we're ready. We can change the weather. I think Triage will go in for 1. Feeling a pterosaur. Pixie is fine. Beast will go in for 2 off of the scheme. Pixie will probably be our chump block, so we don't really have much to do with her. We could attack for 2, but that's not great. We probably should change the weather. Oh, if we change the weather, we might as well have not used Beast. Yeah, so I'll change the weather and not use Beast. Because when we change to Hurricane mode, games Retaliate 1. Are we going to attack for 2 to take 2? I feel like we don't. I think we just hold all our damage events because Retaliate 3 is too much. And then I guess we'll pass. That's ugly. Okay. If we had it confused, we'd consider jumping down. Energy. Torrential Rain, Cyclops, Prof X. There's the confuse we want. Our deck is relatively thin. Just to check what's left in it, we have 2 Flash Freezes, which we've never drawn in any game so far, but all our Lightning Bolts are left in the bin. I wonder if we want to consider playing like the Mutant Education so we can shuffle cards back in. We're not even playing the X-Mention, which I'm not feeling bad about. Okay, this goes to 1. Let's read the text on this really carefully because this goes to 3. So this says, after resolving step 1 of the villain phase, place 1 test counter here. Then if there are 3 or more test counters, discard cards from the top of the counter deck until a minion is discarded. It's an ultimate bioservant. Comes in for 4 health with toughness. This thing gets +1 attack for each attachment on it, so now it's good. Put the minion in play, engage with the first player, and remove 3 test counters. So that'll activate against us as well. Now Zola's first going to activate for 2 and a card. I think we're just going to chump block with Triage. So this says Retaliate 1, but it won't matter because Triage will likely get defeated. So Zola's attacking for 3 damage with a Sinister Strike, defeating our medic. Geneva Convention. Ultimate Bioservant is going to attack for 1. We could block with Pixie. It's probably fine to block with Pixie here. The Retaliate will go through, and Pixie's not doing much. So we'll block with Pixie. So Pixie takes 1, and then the Retaliate from Pixie hits the Ultimate Bioservant. The 1 encounter card, Giant Ape, sick. The Giant Ape comes in, it has guard, so we can't attack Zola. Luckily, we have an AoE that's not an attack. And when defeated, we have to do the special setting on the environment, special ability on the setting environment, which is just rip the top 3 cards of your deck, which is like relatively inconsequential. Okay, back to us. Not bad. The Wicked and Divine, one of my favorite comic series, was monthly. I've always wanted to stick in a 3 Invisibles pin on Anarch ID, but it's just a blank white pin, so visually it looks like we forgot to fill it in. The Invisibles, not 3. Wait, sorry, Brennan? How many like cool references have you how many references have you worked into card art and Netrunner that people haven't discovered? Okay, problem is Prof X is not very good here. If we play Cyclops, our hand is ugly. Because this is 3, and then we can't play this part of our hand. There's no reason to play Torrential Rain. We can't play this part of the hand. So this hand, unless we change to the weather to draw another card, is largely unplayable. How many doubles are left in the deck? 1, 2. There's no doubles left in the deck. So we draw a card off of Clear Skies. There's not that much we can do. The problem is if we go to Clear Skies, we can't do the Professor X Confuse, which is kind of what we want to do. I think it's probably more important that we do a Blast of Wind. And importantly, when you do Blast of Wind, you get that extra kicker ability on the weather support, which here would be remove 2 threat. So we can actually make it draw another card. Oh, that's actually really sick. They can draw 2 cards off of this. But then we don't go for the Confuse. I think that's fine. We'll just play for Cyclops. So the first thing we're going to do with Storm is we're going to change the weather to Clear Skies. Everyone has Stalwart, and then we draw a card. We get a Flash Freeze. Okay. And then we'll pitch 1, 2, 3 for Blast of Wind. Choose a player. Cool. Deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engage with that player. Because it's not an attack, we don't care about guard and we don't care about retaliate. So Bioservant's on 1, Ape is on 2, Zola is on less than 16, 13. And then we do the draw a card. Uncanny X-Men, okay. We do want to play that before we cycle, but if we do that, we won't be able to play Cyclops, which is not the most important. It lets us play Utopia, but I reckon that the scenario is going to be long enough that we can just play Uncanny X-Men and pass. We will deck out. We're drawing 4 cards, so we'll have 2 encounter cards. And we won't get to use Utopia, but we'll be able to clean the board, which is the most important thing. I think we'll just play Uncanny X-Men. It's just like way too good, and we'll bin these cards. Because Prof X is not that good. Cyclops is honestly not that good here. And then we'll have that on the table. Card's really, really good. Not only does everybody get +1 health, which is already worth something and already impacts the board state, but all our allies are cheaper, which is very, very good. Okay, so we'll attack for 2 into the Giant Ape. I guess Beast will attack into the Bioservant, wasting some value. And that's it. I'm going to do a sanity check. Counter card, discard piles only in counter cards. Good to see. And then we'll just pass. Currently, we have clear skies, so nothing's going on. We'll probably chump block here with Pixie. We draw 1. It's Flash Freeze, Call for Backup, Forge, and to me, my X-Men. Forge is okay. It costs 1 and it draws a card. And that gets us an X-Men support or upgrade. Maybe it's only a support. X-Men and X-Force support and add it to your hand. So we can go grab our X-Jet or any of the other cards we've been kind of lacking on. Yeah, we've got through a whole cycle with playing no resource generators, which I'll be honest, I haven't done that in such a long time. We also get these out of the deck, which is a bit of a bummer. So blocking with Pixies is fine here. Ideally, you want to get your allies back into your deck for the cycle, but last card, Weather Goddess. Love it. Okay. Off the top of my head, there is a good one on the OP Art of Joyride. I don't know if anyone spotted that, but probably by now. Okay, I need to look at that one. That card is so similar to the original printing of it. It's kind of fascinating. This goes to 1. This goes to 1. Or sorry, goes to 2. Zola's attacking for 2 and a card. We'll block with Pixie. Damage is Dark Designs. This goes to 1. Unfortunately, it's only 2 damage. Pixie's defeated though. Encounter card. Drawing near. Okay, so we probably have to consider flipping down because drawing near is an obligation, and it says after your turn begins, which is now, discard the top card of your deck and put its resource icons on Pursued by the Past. We're very close to getting our Nemesis. The deck is big enough than counter deck that it won't be super consistent that we find it. To find another boost icon, I mean. Our Nemesis actually gets into a knife fight with us, which is kind of brutal. Like the knife fight is really, really hard. You just have to end up taking a bunch of damage for no reason. I forget her name, but it's a really, really fun Nemesis set. And I have seen a couple of the X-Men cartoons where the character shows up in the sewers. Okay, so we don't have that much to deal with. This won't pop off. Going down to Alter Ego to discard this is fine. We could discard a Flash Freeze. We could have considered playing the Flash Freeze, but I think with the chump block was totally fine. So Forge is good value. Issue is we don't have a lightning bolt, and I feel like on 13 health, we're basically in holding pattern until we find a lightning bolt. So I reckon we can either call for backup and clear call for backup, which can get into an ally, and then we can go get a confuse because we can get Prof X that will ready us. That's kind of nice. I think that's probably the play. So we'll pitch it to me, my X-Men. Or do we open with Weather Goddess? We need to change the weather before we get Professor X for obvious reasons. So I think we'll probably change to Hurricane. Yeah. Will we Weather Goddess for Hurricane? Or do we just not care? I don't think the change actually matters that much. Yeah, the change is not super impactful in this turn. So I want to keep a card in our hand that belongs to our class. So that'll be Flash Freeze. But Weather Goddess, we can change the weather. So say that we change to Hurricane, we remove 2 threat here, which is fine. But if we're getting Prof X, that's a waste. So I guess we change to the lightning damage because that does a bit of damage. So we'll change to Thunderstorm. This just does 2 damage to an enemy. So villain goes down to 13, 11. That's that. We can still change the weather once. I think now we'll play, to me, my X-Men to play Call for Backup. The scheme comes in with 3 threat on it. So you might notice I got some of these big dice. These big dice were actually free, which is really nice from the Burger Tokens folks. They've been doing, they came up with these like spin down big dice. And they had a underneath it on the page. They were like, by the way, if you make content on the internet, if you stream or whatever, and you want some big dice for free, we will send you some big dice. We just want your stream to look better. And I was like, wait, that's pretty cool. And so I messaged them and ordered some of these dice. They didn't say that you have to plug them or anything, but like, it's just kind of sick. I would really like one that matches an orange or yellow that looks good on camera to be able to track threat, because you need a lot of those. And the orange has been what I've been playing with for a while, but these look so much better on stream than these for sure. All right, if we clear this, we may search the deck and discard pile for an ally and put it into play. So we'll do 3. That will clear this immediately. It goes to the victory display, and we'll search our deck for a Prof X. Oh my God, Andre. How do I keep doing this? I need to really talk to somebody. I need to really focus. If I can get through a whole game without doing that, I can't believe I'm doing that. We'll get this into play. So it's Prof X. Well, in fact, both used the same brief. The OP was commissioned because the original artist wasn't sure if they were going to hit with the deadline of the set. I was pretty sure I heard that, Brennan. I didn't want to say that confidently without knowing that, but I think I heard that before. I think that makes sense, and that's like a really cool way to roll with the punches. I think part of the problem is that you're talking too much to us. I mean, maybe, but like that's what I'm meant to do. Like Profex is in play, comes in with 3 health. Just want to make sure. Actually 4 health. I want to make sure that we're doing nothing wrong here. So this call for backup says, put into play, and Profex is like very generous. Profex doesn't care. Profex just says when it enters play. Yeah, okay. When Profex enters play, we're gonna go for a confuse. We'll Utopia to ready us. Okay. So Profex will do the thing that Profex can do, which is clear this. Taking 1. We're ready. We could just hop down and recover. There's not much else that we want to do here. We could play Forge for 1. But then we can't get rid of drawing near, which seems more important. So we'll flip down. Oh, we can change the weather one more time. So we can't change to anything that really matters, because if we change to clear skies, we lose the confuse. So I don't think we change. I think we just flip down. We flip down to Aurora. We will discard Flash Freeze to get rid of drawing near. It goes into the right discard pile, and then we'll just hold on to Forge. I don't think we hold on to Forge. I think we're just drawing for Lightning Bolt really hard and any of our damage cards. So I'll just discard Forge. Playing Forge for 1 that readies us and then draws a different card out of our deck. Maybe that's fine because it thins our deck. Forge is like really good, especially because Forge costs 1. As long as we're not in Alter Ego. So yeah, I'll hold on to Forge. Maybe that's fine. Torrential Rain. Gentle. There's another orange card in there. Storm's Crown. It's like we're playing against Mysterio again. Weather Goddess. And then we have an energy. So yeah, we have some allies. What's wrong with me? Okay, this goes to 2. Sorry, to 1. This goes to 2. Zola would scheme for 3 in a card, but is confused. Our 1 encounter card is Zola's Mutate. I think this causes a discard. Zola's Mutate. When revealed, discard cards from the top of the counter deck until a tech attachment is discarded. Attach that card to Zola's Mutate. We made the deck a lot bigger, so the chance of this whiffing, it might take us a lot of discards. Look at all those dinosaurs. This is a tech attachment. This is pain inhibitors. So it's attached to the minion with the most remaining hit points. If it cannot, this card gains surge. This minion gets +2 hit points and gains retaliate 1. Okay. So retaliate again if you defeat the minion, you don't take the retaliate damage. Probably have 1 more retaliate badge somewhere. And then +2 hit points, so we have a big old 7. So I'm just going to do 52. Cool. All right, it's back to us. We want to deal with that minion for sure. We're going to get another minion in a second. Our hand has no damage besides Gentle. Gentle comes in and hits for 4. Or no, hits for 3. But we can make it for 6 if we change the weather, which we probably will change the weather. Did we not recover? We were meant to recover, right? Did we forget to recover? Another game I've been playing with my wife is available to play is Marvel Rivals. We've been having a blast with it. It feels a lot like the years of Overwatch. I played a whole bunch of Marvel Rivals. I thought it was very charming and well done. I was not a huge Overwatch fan. I played a bit of it with friends, and I actually liked it a lot. I don't think we recovered. Because we didn't activate last round, did we? No, we did, because we cleared this, but then we readied. Yeah, we were meant to recover 3. I don't think I did that. I can check the log really quickly. No, we didn't. So I'll just recover 3. I'll just err on the side that whatever, we'll be fine on 6 health. Okay, so what can we do here? Red is not a problem. We can Weather Goddess for some cheap damage. We have to change out of Thunderstorm first. So we can change to draw a card and then change back. That's probably fine. We want to play all our allies when we're on the Uncanny X-Men side so that they're cheaper. So we'll play Gentle for the energy and see what happens. So I think we can afford to recover. We'll recover 3 here. Then we'll flip up. Okay. Oh, Profex is discarded at the end of the phase. So then here we'll play 2 for Gentle because it costs 1 less. Gentle comes in with 4 health and is ready. This will ready us if we want to, and we do. Actually, we could ready Gentle to attack Gentle twice to do 3 into 3. That's also maybe fine. Or 4 into 4. So maybe we don't ready ourselves. So let's not use Utopia just yet. Okay, well, Weather Goddess. to change the weather. Yeah, that's fine. Well, weather got us to change the weather. We'll go to clear skies so we can draw a card. Okay, we have a depth focus. I think we'll play the depth focus and we'll play forge. So then I'll pitch torrential rain to play forge for 1. Forge comes in with additional health because we are all X-Men here. And says we can search our deck or discard pile for X-Men or X-Force support. So at this point, I think it's too late to play the X-Jet, so I'll just grab it and get it out. None of the player cards are X-Men or X-Forced, which is unfortunate. I don't think anyone's set has X-Men or X-Force cards. So generally, you're just looking for basic cards. I don't even think there's X-Men or X-Force supports that are in any of the aspects. Now we'll use Utopia to ready Gentle. We have to attack with Gentle first. So Gentle will attack for, before we flip down, Gentle will attack for 4. So 7 goes down to 3. Bad ordering takes 1. And then Utopia will ready Gentle. Okay. Scuffed ordering. We're getting there. Okay. This is our hand. We could either play the Storm's Crown or we can just play Depth Focus. At this point, it's probably better to play Storm's Crown because it's more flexible. So we'll just play Storm's Crown. This gives us +1 for it, which is fine. Not the most important thing. The way things are going. Gives us ability to generate the resource here, which is a wild, but I don't think any of our cards care about exact resources. Some of the villain cards do, or the villain's cards. So then Gentle will attack again for 3, defeating Zola's Mutate. This didn't have, oh, it had Retaliate, so Gentle would take 1 more damage, because yeah, this had Retaliate. Okay. Forge will thwart for 1. I think we'll just do a bit of chip damage here, so we'll change the weather manually to Thunderstorm. When we're in Thunderstorm, we'll do 2 damage to Zola. And then Forge or Beast will attack for 3 damage into Zola, getting defeated by Retaliate damage. So that puts Zola down to 6. And everything has +1 attack. So probably we win this turn. A minion is going to activate against us, so we might have to do a double block. So there's a chance that this is a bit scary to give +1 attack, but we have Triage for some healing, Torrential Rain. We have the Lightning Bolt, which does an absurd amount of damage, Kid Omega, and the Honorary X-Men. Okay. So this goes to 1, this goes to 3, which says that we discard cards from the top of the deck until we have a minion, and then we put it into play. We don't reveal it. Love to see Sauron here. We see a giant ape that has guard. That's annoying. But very importantly, this says put into play. It doesn't say reveal. Yeah, so we don't do the when. Oh, we forgot to do the when the defeated on the ape that we defeated. Not a really big deal, but in theory, the giant ape had text that we missed. It was a when defeated text. We should have discarded 3 cards on the top of our deck. I'll just do it now. They're random cards, but it just means that we'll get closer to bottoming out of our deck. So we'll do it for the ape that we forgot. Now Zola's attacking for 3 and a card. Then the ape is going to attack for 3. We need to get through 11 damage here. 3 and a card. Could be up to 6 damage. Our hand has so much damage that all we have to do is defeat the ape. So I think we're just going to take it to the face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. We take 5. Down to 4. Then the ape attacks for 3. If we take it, we die to Sauron. I don't think we can do that again. So I guess we'll block with Forge. We did that in the wrong order then. But yeah, Forge will be defeated to the ape. 1 encounter card. Cool. Do we actually get a like an increased ape? Do we get a... Absolutely not you. Do we get to make an ape stronger? Defensive programming. Attached to the minion with the most remaining hit points without another copy. Gets +2 hit points and gains guard. Okay, so it actually is a big ape. It already had guard, but we actually get to see Zola make big ape. That's cool. It's back to us. We're on 4 health. Our hand has Lightning Bolt. It is an attack though. As long as we can defeat the ape, we can get in there. Problem is, we're already in Thunderstorm mode. So we can Lightning Bolt the ape, and then we do 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. That also wins. So I think we just zap the ape and call it a day. We play Triage for healing and a ready. Let's try and zap Zola. Yeah. So Storm will attack for 3, because we have Thunderstorm. So this goes to 4. Then Gentle will attack for 4, because of Thunderstorm. We defeat the ape. We have to discard the top 3 of our deck. 1, 2, 3. There goes the garden. Some resources. And then all we have to do here is we can do 1, 2, 3 for Lightning Bolt. And we absolutely... Lightning. We cook Zola. All right, we got there. It took us 2 attempts, but we definitely got there. That didn't feel too bad. We did take a couple too big attacks and we were in Thunderstorm a bit too aggressively, and we got 2 triple boosts, and that really cooked us. We got a bit unlucky again on advancing, but that's how solo is. Luckily with 2 schemes, that's okay. So this feels okay. The deck feels reasonable. I honestly think we might be short allies. Like we could play one more ally. I don't think there's a card in our deck that we were bummed to draw. Torrential Rain wasn't lining up well, but this deck doesn't do a lot of scheming. It doesn't have a lot of side schemes either, so that feels okay. But the dinosaurs showed up. We dealt with them. We had a different spin on it. I feel like the attachments maybe were too far between, and that happens when you dilute the deck. But I also think I grabbed an attachment and kept it in my deck, so there's a chance that we missed it on one of the activations. Okay, let's try something slightly harder. And by slightly harder, I mean, oh my god, a lot harder. So let's try and push the limit and maybe regret this in a second. Because we're going to go on and go to the Savage Land, and instead of dealing with Zola, we're going to deal with Magneto. And Magneto on its own is already really hard. Maybe Magneto with a convoluted deck of an extra, or a bloated deck with extra cards will be less absurd, but let's try this out against Magneto. All right. That's this. We'll heal to 10. Villain name, Magneto. I don't know how much health Magneto starts with, but we don't lose the game if this is in play, right? No. Good to check. All right, and let's just deconstruct this really quickly. We're gonna need one of these. All right, let's see how many player cards are in these decks. So we'll just separate them into the different camps. We're going to keep all the cards we're going to reuse and just put them in the same thing. So we're playing with the exact same amount of cards added to the deck. So again, Magneto will be a bit less consistent, but we'll at least have all the dinosaurs as well. Yeah, that's right. We're just taking out all of the cards that are orange. Cool. Nice try, Zola. So this is what we're adding. Hail Magneto. Get dunked on, Computer Man. I mean, probably not going to go well. Magneto's a really good difficulty. I think Magneto, the design of Magneto, one of my favorite final villains. It's like tough. It's interesting. You have a lot of decision points. It's just a really cool design. So this is Magneto. I will call Magneto every once in a while. You know. Steady and toughness. Okay, we have a bit of confused. So steady is going to do some work against us. Starts with toughness and a pretty healthy 20 health. So villain set 20. Steady is good. That means, again, we need 2 confuses or 2 stuns to convert. I think there's a way to make Magneto lose steady. Maybe not. When revealed, deal each player an encounter card. So we'll shuffle all the Magneto cards. Oh, not these yet. These we're going to need. We're not going to play in campaign mode, so we don't have Magneto's Fortress, which is a campaign mode only thing. And we're not going to be playing with the Acolytes. We're replacing all these Acolytes, which I think I can do this, encounter set Acolytes. So we're not playing with these. Instead, we're going to be playing with our friends. Yeah, that system works. We're going to be playing instead with our dinosaurs. So Magneto's Fortress is for campaign mode only. It's a very cool card. And this one also is nice because it starts with a bunch of side schemes that you have to deal with. The text on them is a bit hard to track because it forces you to do arithmetic, which sounds like maybe I'm complaining about nothing, but you'll see in a second. This is just like such a cool design of its scenario because there's multiple things going on. Magneto hits hard. It has that sort of scaling. Every time you get 3 counters, the encounter phase is even worse for you. Magneto has some really mean schemes too, or really mean treacheries, and Magneto like forces them out of the deck. So force response, after Magneto attacks you, place a magnet counter on the main scheme. So generally every 3 turns, you'll see the magnet counter matter, and we have to remember to deal each player face down encounter card. This deck is pretty big. I was telling Zola to get dunked on. We'll see how well you fare against the Master of Magnetism. Luckily, Aurora isn't made out of metal. All right, while I do this, I can pull up Asteroid M. Asteroid M? Oh yeah, right, because there's This is another really cute thing the game does, is that anytime that there's a villain that shows up as a hero or vice versa, they will take all of the same cards and keep the same names and slightly change what they do so they make sense. So Asteroid M is their scheme, but Asteroid M is also one of the supports that you have in the Magneto deck. This makes it hard to pull up the card names because a lot of the card names have 2 versions of them, but almost all of the Magneto cards in the counter deck have an equivalent card in the Magneto hero pack, which is pretty sick. So we're playing Magneto 2 and 3. We're playing on Expert with Standard 3. We're using, instead of the Acolytes, we're using every single set that has a dinosaur in it. Set the Orbital Decay side scheme aside, which is behind here, and then reveal the Boarding Party side scheme. Who doesn't want a party? So Boarding Party comes in with only 3 threat. It says Magneto can also have more than 6 sustained damage, so we have to do the math backwards. This is easier to track if you add counters instead of remove counters. Shout out to remove counters gang. And when we flip this, we reveal the Sabotage Master mold. I'll spoil it a bit. If the main scheme advances, it cares about whether you've completed this or not. So in theory, you can ignore this, but if you ignore this, you can't do enough damage to Magneto. So often I rush this thing down. I think when you get to the bottom of the stack, Magneto loses steady, if I'm not mistaken, but we want to get through this quickly. So generally we'll just try and survive against Magneto and rush this deck down, because if you don't deal with this deck, if this deck advances, it gets worse. Very cool design. Small threshold here, especially for solo. Sometimes you want to strategically allow this to advance. This is at the backside of Asteroid M. Comes in 1 threat, gets 1 per turn. After you place a magnet counter here, and that's whenever you place it. Generally, when Magneto attacks you, that's how you place counters. But there's other ways, and counter cards will do that. If there are at least 3 magnet counters, discard cards from the counter deck until a magnetic card is discarded. You reveal that card first, and then you remove only 3 counters. This is different than Zola. I think Zola removes all the counters. But very importantly, this reveals the card first, and a bunch of the cards actually scale how many magnetic counters there are on this thing, on the main scheme. So you actually do get the bad hit with a lot of magnetic counters, and then you clear them. So it's a subtle difference, but actually very quite important. 5 to advance, and I think there's 3 main schemes. This deck is chonky. Other suggestions on getting into comics? Do you have a brick and mortar store that sells them? If so, talk to the folks that work there. There's a huge culture of bande dessinée, as they're called here in Quebec. But if I'm not mistaken, a lot more of the culture is like, that actually might not be true, but the sort of European comic scene, like graphic novel scene, is I think a bit bigger in Quebec. I think it's less so like importing English Marvel comics and stuff like that, DC Comics. That's a route that I took. We had a comic shop not too far away, and when I grew up and when I had a pocket change, I rode my bike over there to Comics and Magic Cards. Yeah, there is a big scene. It's a big city, and yeah, there's a lot of culture, but I do think it's like probably slightly different than across the border, just because of the European Quebec influence. I might be wrong about that, but I know where there's a couple cool bande dessinée shops. All right, let's give this a shuffle. I think that's all we need to know. Yeah, Asteroid M boarding party. So we have to land on Asteroid M first, and then eventually we try and take it down out of the sky. We still have Retaliate 1, which is marked there. The special discards 3 cards from the top of our deck. That will happen only sometimes, and we are off to the races. Let's do our mulligan. This is going to be a lot harder. Magneto is quite tough. Literally tough. 20 health. Flash freeze. I don't want to keep this. I do not like keeping defense cards on turn 1 because you basically lose a hand size, and I don't like that. Gentle, probably not a great keep here. I think our priorities, for what it's worth, is clearing boarding party and getting a chump block. Gentle doesn't do either of those relatively well. This is going to be a longer fight than Zola, so I think having some of our resources are going to be a bit better resource generators. To me, my X-Men, I'd keep that. Doesn't give us a chump block. I'll put that in the maybe camp. Excuse me. Okay, 2 of them. I'll definitely put 1 in the no camp. Torrential Rain, this is okay. I'm not sure I want to spend 2 resources on this. Hurricane special ability, what does it do? It's like remove 2 threat. So in theory, Torrential Rain is 2 for 4. Sorry. Points at table out of frame. 2 for 4 is okay. Like it lines up okay, especially because it's 2 for 4 split, which is a bit better. So this is also in the maybe camp, but I don't think I like any of these cards so far. And then we have Beak. Okay, that's definitely a no. So we're definitely not going to keep these 4 cards. Rain is maybe. We always have to start on a weather side. We get 1 free flip. We can always just like do Hurricane and Aurora to clear this, and then we can do Torrential Rain again. So I think we actually could consider keeping this. Magneto hits like a truck. Like a Magneto attacks for 3 in a card. So I think we really do need an ally here. And unfortunately, to me, my X-Men gets an ally, but only to the end of the phase, so we don't have a blocker. I'll hold these and hope for the best. Honorary X-Men, that's not great. Aurora's Garden, uh-oh. Blast of Wind, this is bad. And Weather Goddess, at least that could draw a card, I guess. But this hand, it's not good. It's not a good hand. All right, we got to choose the weather we're in. That's Aurora's text. We can choose what weather we start in. Again, we can always flip out of this. So the special on this is not going to fire. It's just what mode we're in. So not huge choices here. We definitely don't want to start in Hurricane. +1 attack is not really important. So I think we'll just start in Blizzard. Just because it's fun. So that just says everyone gets -1 attack, which ending in Blizzard actually might be important. But here in Alter Ego, there's not much we can do. We have mostly hero cards. We actually could consider playing Aurora's Garden because our hand is that bad. We are going to take a fair bit of damage through this scenario. Like Magneto just hits hard. We only have 10 health. So playing Aurora's Garden might make some sense. But otherwise, what's our plan, right? Like we want to play Torrential Rain, which is 2 cards. We want to play To Me My X-Men, which is 1 card. So that actually doesn't give us that much flexibility. Weather Goddess can draw a card, so it just like is a cantrip, so it doesn't change that much. If we end on Hurricane mode, we give Retaliate 1. That's fine. So I think we will Weather Goddess to draw a card. That's not that good. But if Weather Goddess draws a card, no, that really isn't that good. At minimum, we could like play Honorary X-Men on us. That might be a bit better. The other option is we can do change to Hurricane, which we will naturally. Take 2 off, take 1 off, and then we'll play Torrential to take 3 off, take 1 off. I think that's all we do, and we'll Honorary X-Men ourselves to give us +1 healing and take this out of the deck. Yeah, that's probably it. Okay, we'll flip up. We're Storm. Storm will word for 1. Doesn't feel good, but it's what we do around here. And then we're going to use Storm's ability to change the weather. So we're going to change from Blizzard to Hurricane. Hurricane says, when you change to this, remove 2 threat from a scheme. So a complete boarding party, it flips it over to Sabotage Master Mold. I was convinced mold was spelled differently than mold, but it's not. Apparently that's just an English versus American thing. So our UK versus America thing. So Magneto cannot have more than 12 sustained damage. Master Mold has been reprogrammed. You must take it offline before it can create human hunting sentinels. Comes in with 3 threat again, and when we complete this, we get to Orbital Decay. And then once we deal with Orbital Decay, Magneto gets a bit weaker. So that's good. Okay, from here, we are exhausted. Everybody has Retaliate. I think we're just going to go ahead and play 1-2 for Torrential Rain. So in theory, we do the sentences by sentences. So the first sentence here says remove 3 threat from among schemes in play. So we'll remove 3 threat from Sabotage Master Mold, and that completes it. So we remove this to the victory display, and we reveal the last side scheme here. It's Orbital Decay. We've done a lot of scheming already. Orbital Decay says, Magneto is an indomitable foe. The only way to ensure his defeat is to destroy his asteroid base by crashing it into Earth. So we still can't defeat Magneto. We can do 18 damage. And after we defeat this, we flip this card over to Physical Strain, which is not a side scheme. It actually makes Magneto lose steady, which is kind of nice to get this down. So we don't have to complete this. But the backside of Torrential Rain, or the last sentence of Torrential Rain, says remove 3 threat from among schemes in play. We actually might have considered doing To Me My X-Men first to see what we draw here. But here we can remove 2 more threat. So we wasted on Asteroid M. So maybe we just drop this down to 1. So then next turn with Storm, we can clear it. I think that's okay. Then finally, we'll nearly finally play To Me My X-Men. This looks at the top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we only get 1 hit. It's Triage. That stinks because Triage doesn't do anything. But Triage can finish Orbital Decay. That's cool. So when Triage comes into play, we can heal 2 from an X-Men character. Everyone is totally healthy. This is who I'd want to chump block with. At least Triage will be back in our hand next round. Took a great look at the cards I did the brief on, and I think most of my references have been spotted. Maybe Oppo, but that's a personal reference, and I've been pretty vocal about it. Wait, I have no idea what that'd be. Is that the character next to Lou? Or is that some of the HUD text? Is that a cafe that you quite like? All right, our choice here is either to do 1 threat on Orbital Decay, making Magneto lose steady, and I'm kind of cool with that. We're going to just attach Honorary X-Men to ourselves. There's that, meme of Obama giving Obama a medal. So we're an Honorary X-Men. We get +1 health. Cool. And then I think Triage will actually deal with the Orbital Decay. I think if this advances, it's not the worst. So we'll take 1 off Orbital Decay, defeating it, and then we get Physical Strain. There's a lot of cool attachments in this set. This is definitely one of them. So Magneto loses steady. As Asteroid M begins its uncontrolled plummet, Magneto uses his powers to hold it together even as he fights with you. So now he's a bit more busy and we can get some stuns. I don't think our deck has any confuses. And we get to clean up some table space. That's it. That's all she wrote. We have Retaliate 1, which is good. Triage returns to our hand after we draw up. And we're going to draw up 5 cards. We have new recruits. Maybe we'll get that on the table. Who knows? X-Gene wants us to flip down if we get it confused. Beast is good. Weather Goddess is fine. We have a Cyclops. And then we also have this Triage. All right. This goes to 2. Magneto attacks for 3 and a card. The Magneto's text is after Magneto attacks you, so we have to remember that. It doesn't matter if we take damage or not, we place a magnet counter. So this is 3 and a card. We could block for 1, which is not very good. That's basically like recovering for 1, and I don't think we want to do that. Unfortunately, our hand here doesn't have any way to confuse. We only have 1 confused card in our deck, plus Pixie, which can get Prof X if we do our ordering well. So we're not going to block. 5 damage already. Uh-oh. But Retaliate 1 knocks the toughness off of Magneto. And we get to put 1 magnet counter here. Our encounter card is Magnetic Missile. This is a really cool card. I don't think it was actually ever fired against me. Oh, that's the wrong one. Again, that's kind of how things go. Surge. Defeat a Sentinel minion in play, then take 5 damage. You may discard X cards from your hand to prevent it. So if you keep the Sentinels around, they're made of metal, so Magneto just hurls them at you. And I think Asteroid M can spawn them if you don't defeat Master Mold. Nowhere is safe. Oh, F. That's not that bad. So place 1 Pursue counter on Pursued by the Past. If this hits 4, we get our Nemesis. And then we have to discard an upgrade or support we control. This is the only one we can. These supports are permanent, so we can't discard them. So we lose our honorary X-Men status, and we also technically take a damage because we lost 1 of our plus health. Sanity check. Okay, that's good. And then that is it. So we could let this go. In theory, our best case is to let Asteroid M go, not this round. Okay, that keeps happening. I need to add Hero to the end of those so I don't pull them up on accident. So if this goes, it's not the end of the world. In theory, we want it to go when it's on 2 counters so that we actually lose a counter, because a counter means we get an encounter card and we don't want to deal with that. This is our hand. X-Gene, sometimes a bit tricky. Lou's canonically dating my gender-bent pirate tuxedo cat. Sick. I wonder if they have a name. That's really, really funny. Okay. So what do we want to do here? Don't look at that Asteroid M. We're in hurricane mode. So we could technically change back to hurricane mode and clear new recruits and see what that's about. I feel like getting the toughness one is probably the one we want out of the new recruits. This is just a card that, again, I've never played yet. But once we defeat this, it adds an ally to our hand, and then we still have to play that ally. So what we could do here is we could start with Weather Goddess to draw a card, changing the weather. And then with our hand here, we could... So this would be like that. We could play new recruits. We could play Beast getting a double. We can clear new recruits. And then with Beast's double, we could play the new recruit. It's kind of shiny, honestly. We can change the weather again as well. I actually like that a fair bit. Let's try that, just because I haven't played this card yet. It might not be the play, but we're doing okay so far. So I'm going to start by playing Weather Goddess. We actually, wait, do we need to do this? It feels like you should always do Weather Goddess, but at the end of the day, if Weather Goddess just draws a card, is it going to change our line? Like, maybe not. But it means that we can go back to Hurricane. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll Weather Goddess, and we'll jump to Clear Skies. Clear Skies says that we can draw a card. We draw Deft Focus, okay. We have 2 resource generators that are not going to hit the table. Then we're going to play 4 cards here for Beast. When Beast enters play, we can search our deck and discard pile for resource and add it to our hand. So let's see if there is any in our bin. I usually like taking them out of the bin first because that means we'll draw into our resources later. To some extent here, we have all the resources in our deck, and you don't want to draw in a hand with too many resources, but we'll go for a double. I don't think we care what the icons on the double are. If I had played against Magneto recently, I'd probably remember which attachments care about that. I think Magneto has attachments that care about the icons, but for now, we'll just go whatever the first one we see is. So that's in our hand. We'll play new recruits for 2. Sorry, for 0. It comes in with 2 threats. 2 threat. And then here, I think we will... flip back to Hurricane, and Hurricane says remove 2 threat. So we clear new recruits, it adds to their victory display, and choose one of the set aside recruits and add it to your hand. So they're all symmetrical. They're all 2/2/2/2/2s. However, their text line is slightly different. So the one that I think we probably take is Bling. Bling seems to be made out of diamond. Gets toughness. That's fine. That means we get at least a block from this. Awkward thing with toughness with allies is that if you block, they're exhausted, so you only get 2 blocks out of them. That's technically better than 1 block. Annul is an option too. Annul gets what, +1 thwart? That's fine. We don't have a thwarting problem. Indra is the +1, +2 hit points. That means you can just activate a lot with Indra. Not super important to me. And then Surge is the +1, not Surge and Crime, but just Surge. This one is +1 attack, which is also pretty good. I'm going to try Bling. So Bling is in our hand. Then we'll play 2. For Bling. Cool. We're doing it. The new generation is amongst us. Comes in with 2. We'll chump block here. Has a toughness. So we could attack with Beast for 2 damage. Magneto, we have a lot of work to do. We could also just keep Asteroid M down. I think ideally we let Asteroid M advance by just like flipping down next round. So we might just go for the damage into Magneto while we can. If we attack with Storm, it's not that good. So maybe we'll just like chip this down. So we'll do 1 for Storm. Oh, we retaliate. So... no, that would defeat Beast. We don't do that. So I guess we try and keep this lower. I don't think we throw it if we don't want to. So this goes down to 2. And unfortunately, I don't think we do anything here with Storm. So Storm's activation is a bit wasted. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Let's drop. My cast name is Callie, so we'll consult narrative and see what the deal is. That's the thing, is like you need to make an alt art for Daig, which I played yesterday and had a good time with, just so that you can add more cat names to it. Nanako was definitely a consideration. If you want to know the spelling, let me know. This is our hand. Storm's Crowned, 2 Torrential Rains, so we're all set up for threatening. This is what I mean when you have too many resources in your deck and you draw them all at once. It's like not the best. Maybe we'll have to go to Clear Skies to draw another card here. I think this hand would like another card. All right, Asteroid M goes down to 1. Magneto's going to attack for 1. 3 in a card. We'll block with Bling. Drawing near, that's 5 damage. Takes the toughness off. We add 1 Magnet counter. Once that hits 3, we have to do something. Evil Alliance. Oh, that's bad. So each Nemesis minion and play activates. Otherwise, we put 3 pursuit counters. So welcome to a knife fight in a storm. Oh, Magneto takes 1 because Blink has Retaliate. Sick. This is Callisto. Callisto comes in with 5 health. She is a Morlock. He has Quick Strike. It's a really cool minion set. Callisto. Quick Strike. Force Interrupt when a knife fight treachery is revealed, and we have 2 of them we're going to add to the massive dinosaur deck. Give Callisto a tough status card. I'm going to ruin that pretty face of yours. So she's attacking for 3. That's some damage. We do have Retaliate. We could block with Beast, but Beast would be like flatlined. 5 health is a lot. Our hand has no damage. So we might have to hop up and like do a storm. Pitching an altar for Daig is a tough one, especially if that is a likeness card already. Oh yeah, that's true. Spoiler alert, cat art on new card dropping at some point. Does the cat on embedded reporting have a name? Yeah, you're right. It's hard to challenge Daig for sure. Okay. So Callisto's now attacking for 3. Blocking for 1 is silly. If we take the damage, we drop down to 2. We flatline to unlikely, but we can flatline to drawing. Oh, we're not drawing a counter card, so we don't have to worry about it. We'll get to this in a second. It's not on the table just yet. But we have to be worried about Sauron. We tied once to Sauron. So Callisto's attacking for 3. Beast seems good to deal with the Morlocks. I think we need to keep our health up because, okay, I'll just read the text on this. This is not in play right now. The leader of the Morlocks causes us. I wrote Mordlocks. Okay, I need to remember to fix that. The player who defeats this scenario searches the counter deck and discard pile for a knife fight and sets it aside for knife fight and reveals it. Sets a side area for knife fight and reveals it. Oh, so you do just reveal it. When we reveal knife fight, Callisto gets tough, and knife fight just says, choose the enemy with the highest attack and take damage equal to its attack. Deal damage to that enemy equal to your attack. So knife fight just makes you trade damage. So if we draw knife fight, we have to take 3 damage from Magneto if we clear leader of the Morlocks, which means we need to preserve our health. Queen Space Cat by now. Buttlicker, wrong department. Princess Space Kid and reappearance when? I feel like that was one of the, you know, when FFG stopped making Netrunner, that was one of the storylines that never concluded. There's a bunch of characters that I wish we saw more, but also it's kind of cool that there's some characters that we never saw, like Guru and PSK. Okay, so Callisto's attacking for 3. Hold on, I need to read Knife Fight again. This thing is just a constant fear. Choose the enemy with the highest attack, take damage equal to its attack. So we have to take the damage equal to its attack, which will be 3 damage. So that means that we can't clear leader the Morlocks unless we flip down and recover, which is fine. Then this card will gain Surge instead, and that's probably okay as well. Callisto will get a toughness. So currently, how do we knock out Callisto? Oh my god, if we change the weather too, if the weather goes into Thunderstorm, the knife fight just hits harder. Because everybody has +1 attack. So it's not printed attack, it's just attack. So we do 3, it does 3. That's really, really bad. Okay, that's really, really bad. Not good. Hurricane clears the whole table, so we can probably flip down. So I think we actually have to block with Beast. But then we have no shot of defeating Callisto. Callisto will have 1 scheme and toughness. I think if this schemes out, we're happy. Yeah, I think we're not that upset if this schemes out when it's on 2 counters. Oh, wow, that's a really tough block. I think we have to block with Beast. Beast is defeated to Callisto's Quick Strike. Okay. We talked about making the deck inconsistent with too many cards, but we still, you know, on turn 2 got our Nemesis. That doesn't happen a lot in Standard 3. All right. It's back to us. Everybody has Retaliate. So Callisto actually, no, because Beast didn't survive. So Callisto doesn't take Retaliate. Callisto will get a Toughness. We are ready. We probably have to recover because the knife fight is coming. So we can always take the knife fight first. But if we grab the knife face on the face down side, it just has Surge. Otherwise, we have to trade damage. Oh, so we can trade damage with Callisto, which is good. That actually could work. I think we have to do this here. So let's try this. We'll do Genius for Torrential Rain. This probably is right. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. So we'll remove 3 threat from Morlocks. This says when defeated, the player searches for a knife fight and it reveals it. Massive deck. Okay, I found one. All right, we reveal knife fight. We get rid of the amplify icon. There's some, that's nice. This says choose an enemy with the highest attack. So we'll choose Callisto. Deal damage to that enemy equal to your attack. It deals damage to you. So we take 3. She takes 2. Also, when we reveal a knife fight, is revealed, give Callisto tough status. Oh, so she doesn't take the damage. Wait, what's the timing on that? So it says when a knife fight is revealed, so she gets the toughness first. So I guess she survives knife fights. It's not after, it's when. So she gets the toughness and then she gets hit. That's really flavorful. We have to do the rest of Torrential Rain, which says if we're in hurricane mode, we can do 2 threat. All right, so now we have to hop down and heal, and we're assuming this will actually advance its way through, which is very likely it will. So we haven't changed the weather. We can if we want to draw a card. Otherwise, we can change the weather to do 2 damage to Callisto. Hey, Supernaut, how's it going? How's your Friday? Do we change the weather for the card draw? We could definitely play a card if we draw it. Yeah, let's try and clear skies. So we'll change the weather. We drew the cape. Is cape better than crown? This is a resource generator. Cape is a ready. I think I'd rather play the cape here because we have 3 resources and we'll hold the crown. So we'll play 1, 2, 3 for the cape. The cape gives us +1 defense too. That's actually super valuable. So we have the little button there. And when we activate a special ability, we can exhaust this to ready. We are technically still ready, but I think we're going to have to recover. So we'll flip down. We'll recover for 3. We'll hold on to this and we'll pass. Drop to 6. 1, 2. We have Pixie. Okay. No Profex just yet. Forge. We have a Weather Goddess. We have a Lightning Bolt. That's good if we want to deal with Callisto. And then finally we have Profex. Okay. We can work with this hand. We have to remember that we have everything has Stalwart. So getting rid of this will make some amount of sense. Asteroid M goes to 1. Magneto's going to scheme for 2 in a card. 1 boost. So that's 3. So this goes to 4. And then Callisto's going to scheme for 1. So this perfectly hits 5. So we advance to the second scheme, Factory Online. And I really like the structure of this because we actually did take down Master Mold, which is the thing that creates Sentinels. So place 1 Magnet counter here. If Sabotage Mold is not in the victory display, the first player searches for M-type Sentinel. So if you don't defeat the factory, it starts spawning these things. And then we're on Factory Online, the back of this. This has the same text as the last scheme. So again, it gets magnet counters. It starts with 1. The threshold's slightly higher, and then we draw 1 encounter card. So luckily we cleared some counters, so we bought ourselves a bit of breathing room. The card is under fire, so this just has double surge. So surge, and when revealed, reveal the top card of the deck. Village under attack. Okay, sick. This doesn't make a lot of sense, but hey, we're in Savage Land, so it does. So Hinder 1 has 3 threat, has a crisis icon, so we can't take threat off of the main scheme. We need to save the village from these dinosaurs is something, never mind, I imagine. It's something oh, right, because of her accent. It's something I never imagined saying. When defeated, each player resolves a special ability on the setting environment, which is discard the top 3 of your deck. Sinister Strike, this is going to have Surge. Never Learn. Put 1 counter here. And then where Alter Ego has Surge. Seized. Oh, this one's actually really bad too. The Seized comes into play, has acceleration, only has 3 threat on it. We threw out 2 of our threading cards so far. It says each player places the top 6 cards of their deck face down underneath here. I'm assuming that means we don't get to see the cards. Big chillin'. How about you? We're pushing the limit a bit here, playing a Magneto expert, but we added all the dinosaurs to the set, so we're hoping for the best. The problem is that when we defeat this, Magneto activates against the player who discarded this scheme. So acceleration icon is not great. The thresholds are relatively low, and then these cards will go back to our discard pile. So I'm not allowed to look at these cards anymore because it'll tell me what's in there. We'll figure it out. What happens when Pursued by the Past ticks all the way up again while you still have your Nemesis? I'll show you. Your Nemesis just activates or shows up. But if they're in play, they just activate, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't happen a lot. But it says after you flip to the side, find your Nemesis, search the set aside for your Nemesis, shuffle your remaining. Okay, no, sorry. So we have to look on the other side because it technically doesn't flip. So the front says, remove each counter. If your Nemesis is in play, it activates against you, and then you remove the counter. So it's honestly not that bad. If it flips, then you have to get your Nemesis in your side scheme. It only searches for your side scheme if your side scheme is not in the game, right? The back says search the set aside area for your Nemesis. So Nemesis side scheme. So you'll never get your side scheme again, but it will bring your Nemesis over and over and over and over. But otherwise, Callisto will activate one more time. All right, it's up to us. Clear Skies is bad. In theory, Clear Skies is actually going to be a problem because I would love to play Professor X to get rid of Seized and have the Confused mean Magneto's not going to activate. The problem is I reckon we'll just get rid of Seized and chump block with Prof X. I wonder if Village under attack is a bigger issue. I think the acceleration is a bigger issue on top of that. So this costs us 3, which we don't have. We also don't have any of our good resource generators. Hurricane mode doesn't really help much because 2-threat lines up pretty poorly. I think we're going to have to block with Seized, with Bling. Professor X shouldn't be able to stun Magneto because of the helmet. I know, and for what it's worth, Magneto was steady, but Magneto's holding up Asteroid M, so it's a bit easier. But yeah, Prof X does technically work. I do think there's the helmet, so funny that you say that. Is that there's specifically a helmet in the game? This might be the hero version, so I need the other one. I don't think I have the other version, but there is a Magneto's helmet that just says you can't stun, or it just says you can't stun or confuse Magneto. So there's a real helmet, we just have to draw it, that actually has that text. I think there's a car alarm going out outside. That's fine. Okay. Wow, we have a lot to think about. So Storm's Cape, we can ready Storm twice. We're at 5 health, which is not great. We can do 2 damage and then attack for 3 damage. So we can one-shot Callisto if we go into the Storm. She just pushed it off his head. I don't think we need a lightning bolt here. I feel like we need to recover on the board before we're trying to push Magneto further. So Weather Goddess is worth playing. Prof X is worth playing. That is most of our cards. If we play Storm's Cape for 2, then we can do Storm's Cape. We're short. Then we just don't Weather Goddess, and that might be fine. I don't think Weather Goddess does that much. Magneto activating twice sucks because then we hit the 3 magnet counters on the next attack if we can't get a stun, and our deck has no stun. So Village under attack might make sense. If Village under attack goes through, no matter what, we're going to go through the deck. I actually really don't like playing Professor X with the only 4 cards left in our deck. Oh, 5 cards. Yeah, I don't like that either because that means Professor X will miss the shuffle. And so we only get to play Professor X once per 2 cycles, which we need to play Professor X a lot. So if we're going to play Professor X, we have to keep a card in our hand so we don't draw exactly 5. Because if we draw 5, we have to shuffle our discard pile and draw another encounter card. So if we're going to play Professor X, we have to be careful. So say that we play 2 for the crown, then we do crown and 2 for Professor X, and then we miss the cycle. That might not be super necessary. The other option is we can just like play a chump blocker like Pixie. I don't care if Pixie misses the cycle. Actually, I don't care if Forge misses the cycle. We could do 2 for Forge. Forge gives us a card. Then we could just set up the crown and hold 1 card. That's also fine. And then we'll hold Professor X. Yeah, I think that might be a bit better. Because I think we just need chump blockers here. So I'll pitch 1, 2 for Storm's Crown. Storm's Crown gives us +1 thwart. And it gives us a research generator of the type based off the weather, which our deck doesn't care about specifically, but it's a research generator. Are we going to recover for 3? I don't think we can afford to recover for 3. I think we have to flip up. So we're going to flip up the Storm. If we change the weather, we can do 2 damage, which means we can defeat Callisto. So I think we will just change the damage here. Change the weather, excuse me. Yeah, so we'll change the weather once per phase. Oh no, then we ready. So hold on. We'll attack first for 2. Okay. Then we'll change the weather. So we'll change to... Maybe we do hurricane mode. If we do hurricane mode, we can take 2 threat off and just work on these cards. If we go to thunderstorm mode, we do 2 damage to Magneto and then Bling takes out Callisto, which is pretty good. That's the other option. That seems fine. Yeah, we'll try thunderstorm. So we change the thunderstorm. Cape readies us. We do 2 damage, so we'll just do it to Magneto. We don't take retaliate because it's not an attack. Then Bling will attack because of +1 attack. We'll do 3 damage into Callisto, taking 1 consequential. We finally get rid of our nemesis. Okay. Then with this hand, we'll generate 1. We'll throw out Pixie for Forge. Is Pixie better than Forge? No, it's fine. Wow, I don't think we've drawn our X-Men team card, so that's coming up. And the Forge says, when you enter Forge, search an X-Men or X-Force support and add it to your hand. I'm just going to grab any card. We're not going to play it. I don't want to grab it out of the deck. Technically, if we get nothing here, we'll just choose not to fire this ability because it looks like all our X-Men and X-Force supports are left in the deck. So I'm not going to fire that ability because I don't want to cycle the deck. So we'll just whiff on that. That's fine. It's not like we're going to use the card. All right, so Forge has +1 attack. We have +1 attack. Everyone has +1 attack. I think we can't do a Village under attack as well because it mills 3 cards of our deck. We're doing so much to make sure we can play Prof X more than once, and that might be wrong, honestly. We could just get rid of Seized. Oh, it could be in Seized, the cards that we're looking for. So we could do 1, 2, 3 into Seized, and then the Magneto attacks us, and the Magneto attacks us again. I think that's fine. So especially to get these cards back into the deck before we cycle. We talked about that being a priority. So Forge, we'll throw it for 1. Storm, we'll throw it for 2. We'll get rid of Seized. Seize him. Seize, oh, it was right there. It says, when defeated, Magneto activates against the player who defeated the scheme. So the cards underneath it were Lightning Bolt, Call for Backup, Team Building, Utopia X-Jet. So both our supports were there. Unfortunately, we lost our team card, which we need that. And then Magneto is going to activate against us. Oh, wait, no, everyone's exhausted. That is going to kill us. Wait, we can't do that. No, that 100% kills us. I forgot that Forge was exhausted. So sorry, we have to undo that. So we got some information, but there's no way we can clear that. So I'm going to do 2 on this with Storm and 1 off this with Forge. Oh my god, yeah, I forgot everyone's exhausted. I thought I'll block with Forge, but that doesn't make any sense. Okay, we're ready. 2, 3. At least we're not making any more decisions, so the cards that we saw are fine. Kid Omega, we have Flash Freeze. That is worth something in a pinch. We've never played one of those. Let's see what happens here. All right, this goes up to 3 because of the acceleration. Magneto's attacking for 3 in a card. We'll block with Bling. 4 in a card. Boost icon, exhaust your identity. Okay. This is electromagnetic blast, so we'll exhaust ourselves. Bling is defeated. It's good to get Bling back into the cycle. We put a counter here, and then we draw an encounter card. Master of Magnetism. Uh-oh. That means I deleted the version of this. Okay, I need to remember which cards. I always fix things between encounters. So this card says, when revealed, take the topmost magnetic card in the encounter discard pile and give it to Magneto as a face-down boost card. Magneto activates against you. That's bad. So the topmost magnetic card in the counter discard pile and give it to Magneto as a face-down boost card. Then Magneto activates against us. So this is going to trigger a bunch of different problems for us. So Magneto gets another boost card from my understanding. So Magneto is now attacking for 4 and 2 cards. This would usually kill us, so we're going to block with Forge. So we know this one says exhaust your identity, so that doesn't do anything. And this one says, well, it's a giant ape. So that's a lot of damage. That's going to defeat Forge. Now Magneto activated, so this hits 3. And then Factory Online just fires here. So Factory Online says, after you place a magnet counter here, there are at least 3. Discard cards from the counter deck until a magnetic card is discarded, and you reveal that card. So it doesn't wait for you. So we reveal Magnetic Missile. Okay. Magnetic Missile says Surge, and defeat a Sentinel minion in play. So at least that wasn't that bad. We clear 3 counters on this. Magnetic Mayhem. All right, we got some problems. This has an amplify icon, so all boost cards have +1. When defeated, the player who defeated the scheme discards the top 4 cards in the counter deck. That player places 1 magnet counter on the main scheme for each magnetic card discarded thusly. I don't think that's going to be a big issue. Again, we diluted the deck with these dinosaurs, so we haven't seen a lot of them, but this is our table right now going into our turn, and things look bad here for our protagonist. We have Prof X. Wait, why would we hold on to Prof X? We're not going to cycle the deck anyways. What was I thinking? We could have played Prof X and not cycled the deck. My God, Andre. Your plan was smart, but the execution not so good. So this is going to hit 5. We definitely want Prof X down here. I think we're going to play to Hurricane mode, but we have to time when we want to go into Hurricane mode. We can play Kid Omega, no problem. And actually, whoa, Storm's Crown actually really matters here, because the icon on Kid Omega, it cares what that is. And currently the icon is energy, which deals 1 damage to each enemy. If we can change to the weather that has a mental icon on it, which would be Blizzard, we actually could do 1 threat from each scheme, which is a lot of work, but then Seized goes off. At least we can block with Kid Omega. We have a mental in hand, but it's Prof X. So we could change to Clear Skies to get the wild. Hold on, we were on Thunderstorm, right? I think we were. So we could change to Clear Skies, but if we Clear Skies, we can't play Prof X. But if we do Kid Omega, Storm's Crown, that fires that out. And then this hand is unplayable. Oh man, that's almost a really good hand. But clearing 3 threats really good. I don't think we actually can clear from Factory Online because of the Crisis icon. It says remove 1 threat from each scheme. What does Patrol mean? I never know the text on Patrol. I never know the text on Patrol. Patrol is different than Crisis. Actually, what's the Crisis that text? Let's try and find what Crisis means. Go up. Crisis icon. While at least 1 Crisis icon's in play, threat cannot be removed. Okay, so that we can't deal with it. So Kid Omega play is like fine, but not amazing. That might be the play. It's just this hand is really, really, really clumsy. I think I want to change to Hurricane. Hurricane has a physical icon that removes 2 threat. So that's actually kind of comparable to Kid Omega. So we can remove 2 threat from Village, which will mill our deck. And then we can mill our deck, and then we can play Professor X. Hold on. But then we should play Clear Skies, which draws, and then we mill our deck anyways. But if we're in Clear Skies, Professor X is not that good. Oh, this is complicated. And we want to get these cards back into our deck before we cycle. Yeah. This is where things get hard. What are we doing here? So this seems like such a good play, but then this hand is unplayable unless we draw 1 card. We can draw a card off of changing to Clear Skies. But if we change to Clear Skies, Professor X's text becomes less meaningful. We could ready ourselves, that's for sure. But it's just 3 threat and no confuse. If we draw a card, though, we cycle the deck, and that's good because then Prof X will go back into the deck. No, in theory, we want Prof X to go into the deck now. So we want to play Prof X now. Maybe we play Prof X with Storm's Crown. Then Prof X comes into play. We get a confuse. And then we just play Kid Omega as a blank. No. Oh, yeah, we should have played Prof X last turn. Hold on. I need to think. This is the part of the video where I like edited forward 2 minutes. What do we possibly do, chat? Kid Omega into Village under attack, mills 3 cards from the top of our deck. That's fine. We'll get an encounter card, and then Prof X will still look a bit silly. Getting Seized down first is also kind of interesting. If we change the weather, we can ready ourselves to deal with Seized. We can block with Kid Omega, which is also okay. If we play Kid Omega, block with Kid Omega. Yeah, I think we just do Kid Omega, no kicker, Professor X. The question is what the order we do that in. I think we want to do Kid Omega as a chump blocker for Seized. We'll change the weather. I guess at the end of the day, Prof X and Kid Omega both are chump blockers, so we should use Prof X on Factory Online. So Kid Omega does Village under attack. Prof X does Factory Online. Magneto attacks us, we block with Prof X. We have Kid Omega to deal with Seized next turn. So we can change the weather once, which readies us. That means we can take 2 threat off of the Magnetic Mayhem, I guess. And then we can change to probably to Hurricane. And then we can clear a bit of everything. Okay, yeah, this is fine. We can work with this. So I'll play Kid Omega. We're not going to do the text. So do we want to get Prof X into the discard pile? We'll do Storm for Prof X. We might mulligan a bit of the ordering here. It comes in with 3, and we'll go ahead and confuse. So that'll confuse Magento. We're technically still in Thunderstorm. If we change, we can ready. We're on 5 health. We have 2 chump blockers. So in theory, Kid Omega can do Village under attack, which mills our deck. That's fine. Do we want to play Professor X after before the mill? No, it doesn't matter. So Kid Omega, we'll go for 2 off of Village. Village says when defeated, the players resolve the special ability. The special ability on Savage Land says mill 3 cards from your deck. We can mill 1 card. And so we are waiting for this encounter card, and we've decked out. Okay. If we change to Hurricane, we can do 2 off of Magnetic Mayhem. That actually might be fine. Just get rid of Magnetic Mayhem. It wastes little. We lose these cards in the cycle. That actually might have been a mistake. Because losing these cards in the cycle, we technically know now, because we've seen every card, that our team card is in there, and 2 of our research generators. But our team card is very important. We want to get that back. I think Beast is still in here, which is good. Okay, so then we're going to change the weather. We'll change to Hurricane, which can remove 2 threat from a card. We'll remove 2 from here. Then we're ready because of the cape. We'll remove 2 threat from the Magnetic Missile. Magnetic Mayhem. This card says that when defeated, the player discards the top 4 cards in the counter deck. It's a magnetic card. It's not a magnetic card. It's a magnetic card, and it's the Eye of Sauron. So that player places 1 magnet counter for each magnetic card. I did not think that would go that bad. So unfortunately, we're going to be drawing another card in a second. But not if we flip down, because Magneto won't attack. We defeat Magnetic Mayhem, so we don't have the Amplify. Seized is still up here. In theory, we don't want to flip down because we want to block with Prof X. So Prof X will clear Factory Online. And that's it. Everybody has Retaliate. We'll draw up to 5. Strength. Honorary X-Men, Pixie, Forge, and Genius. It's really nice to get Pixie when Professor X is on the table, because Professor X will be defeated, and then Professor X will be able to be brought back. That is the bottom of the deck. Okay, this goes to 2. Magneto is attacking. For 3 and a card, we'll block with Prof X here, who's on the way out no matter what happens. It's 3 and a card. Boost icon on Electromagnetics, exhaust your identity. Hate it. So Professor X is defeated. This means we get the 3rd counter on this. So it goes to 3, and then we discard cards until we get a magnetic counter, right? A magnetic card. Not magnetic. This is the one I was looking for, Magneto's helmet. I think I don't have this. I think I need to check. I deleted some of the cards when I overwrote them. But this is attached to Magneto. Magneto cannot be confused. No! That's so bad. So this says Magneto cannot be confused, gives Magneto +1 scheme. And after your hero makes a basic attack, you have to spend 1 of each kind of resources to wrest the helmet off of Magneto's head. Then you discard this card. So that's unfortunate timing for sure. And we still have 2 encounter cards coming. First one is magnetically sealed. We've been drawing a lot of these side schemes. So each player plays 2 additional threat here for each ally in play. So the 4 threat here. This one gets really bad when you play leadership. 4 seems okay for us. This is in the bin, right? And then we get Master. Fuck off. Oh, we're cooked. Place 4 threat on each side scheme. Max punish. So there's a crisis with 8. This hits 5 instead of 1. This card is just such a bad card on Expert if you do not deal with the side schemes with some amount of dedication. Unfortunately, that is the worst case for us. Adding 8 is just a lot, and spreading it across 2 schemes. Our hand doesn't have a lot of thwarting, but with Magneto's helmet, not a lot of value of grabbing Prof X back here. It's still 3 threat and a chump blocker, which is okay. Yeah, that was as bad as it sounded. That was really quite bad. We're exhausted. In theory, we should take Magneto's helmet off. So if we can take Magneto's helmet off, we might have a chance there. Problem is we need to play Pixie. So this plays Pixie. And then we have to play Prof X, which is these 3. That leaves us with exactly 2 cards. We can play the Honorary X-Men on us. We can also play Forge. But if we want to take the helmet off, which I feel like we do, we need to have 1 of each resource, and we have to make a basic attack. So we can ready ourselves. So we're already in Hurricane mode, which stinks, because that's the mode that we want to change into. We can't clear this until we clear this. So this is our priority by a mile, because this advances in 2 turns, because it's going to add 2 and then add 2. So we need to do all our work on this. So Kid Omega probably has to be just used for threat. So I think we have to grab Prof X, even if there's no, what's it called? Nothing to it. I guess we can clear skies, but if we clear skies and grab Prof X, that's fine because the Magneto's helmet is doing that thing. So I think we're going to start with clear skies here. So we'll change to clear skies. Cape readies us. We draw a card. We have Beast. Oh, that's actually interesting. That's quite interesting. So we play Beast for 4. We get 2 back. With 2 back, we can play Forge. Forge grabs a card back. With that card, and we really need... Oh, we could... Wait, can we take the helmet off? In theory, we could attack and take the helmet off by throwing these out and then still have Beast and 2 resources and 3 resources. That seems like a waste of resources, but we could technically take the helmet off here. The thing is, the helmet's only good if we have Prof X off. Otherwise, we have no Confuse in the deck. So our 2 Confuse cards are Pixie into Prof X. Maybe it's cool that we got Prof X on the cycle because Prof X is in the bin for Pixie. Maybe there's something to say about that. We're going to get attacked for 3 in a card. We can probably block with Forge or Pixie. Okay. So if we do double for Beast, we get a double. If we do double for Forge, we get a card. Now this card, I don't know what the icons are on X-Men or X-Force supports we have in our deck. The problem is I think they're all underneath here. I'm just going to check really quickly because we should know, but I don't think there's any X-Men or X-Force supports. So Forge actually cannot draw a card. We should know this because we've gone through our whole deck already. I just did not check carefully. But we have straight up no X-Men or X-Force supports. They're all seized right now. So Forge does not go up +1 card. So that changes the math a bit. So that means we're more likely to want to play Pixie and then just give ourselves an honorary X-Men. Unless instead we play Beast and take the helmet off, but then I think we float a resource. Oh no, not necessarily. I think actually playing Pixie is worth it because we just need chump blocks here because we're not very good at blocking. All right, we'll start. Pay 4 for Beast. When Beast enters play, search your deck and discard pile for a resource and add it to your hand. In theory, we have all kinds if we want to take off the Magneto's helmet. I don't think we do this turn. I think we'd rather just play this again. So then we're going to play double for Pixie. When Pixie enters play, we can go grab an X-Men from our bin and add it to our hand. So I'm just going to go grab Prof X and set up for it later. Red, blue, yellow. Oh, we can actually still take the helmet off and not play this. Wait, that's sick. So we're going to do a basic attack, which does 2 damage into Magneto. Magneto has retaliate, so we take 1, but Magneto takes 2. And then this helmet says after your hero makes a basic attack, discard. So Storms generates a wild. We'll make it whatever we're missing. And we'll throw a blue and a red out. And so now Magneto can be confused as much as Clear Skies is still here. Okay, we'll hold on to Prof X for next turn. Kid Omega can do 2 threat or chump block. Beast will definitely do 2 off of this. Pixie will do 1. She becomes our chump block. And I think Kid Omega will take 2 off of this. This goes from 5 down to 3. If we draw a Torrential Rain, we're in a good spot. Gonna do a little sanity check. Doing a good job, Andre. You're the best. The orange cards go into the orange pile. The blue cards go into the blue pile. And then we'll pass. Pixie will be our chump blocker. Prof X, energy, nice. To me, my X-Men, nice. Power of leadership, fine. Lightning bolt, not what we need. We needed more threat cards. This goes to 4. Magneto attacks for 3 in a card. We'll put Pixie bravely in the way. This is a Switchblade. So that came from our set. Our Nemesis set. Pixie's defeated. We put 1 Magnet counter here. We draw an encounter card. Subpterosaur. Caca. When revealed, resolve the special ability on the setting environment. So we rip 3 off the top of our deck. Blast a Wind, Weather Goddess, Rain. No, okay. That's not good. We still have another Torrential Rain in the deck. I think we actually have 2. And then this thing comes in with 4 health and it hits really hard. If we can't clear this and take 1 off of this, the Factory Online will just advance. We don't lose the game. So here we're incentivized to see what comes off the top with To Me My X-Men. I think it's actually not super likely it hits. We only have 5 in the deck, as much as I'm not sure how many allies are underneath there. But I think we start with that, and then based off of that, we just play Professor X. So I'll start with To Me My X-Men. So search the top 5 for an X-Men put into play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we got Bling. That's fine. Bling's toughness is a bit wasted here. But yeah, technically we added an X-Men to our deck, so that does help the numbers. Comes in with 2 health and toughness. If you have the mutant X-Men trait, does not count against your ally element, gets toughness. Okay. So that means we have a fair bit of thwarting we can do. So we can deal with magnetically sealed. and then we can deal with factory online a bit, and we'll just hold on to seized for a bit. Our deck is not very big, but we did see that we still have a lot of good cards in there. Here we can play Prof X, no problem. What do we do about the pterosaur? Do we lightning bolt the pterosaur? Blink a card of questionable power, Netrunner. I think the card is good. I think we're going to see more exploration. I wish I could pull some Netrunner cards into the Cerebral card searcher, but unfortunately not the case right now. Okay, so if we go to Hurricane mode, that's fine. Our options are that we can either play Prof X, which is more important, and then we can even consider flipping down to Alter Ego to make that we don't get another Magnet counter, and then Pterosaur doesn't matter. So I think we will do that. I think we can hold on to Lightning Bolt. Actually not super useful. So we'll do 1 resource, 2/3 for Prof X. You know him, you love him. Comes into play for 1 turn. We've missed the chump blocking potential here. But we're going to go ahead and confuse Magneto, which we can't just yet. Hold on. Pending. We're going to attack 2 into Pterosaur. And then we're going to change the weather. I think we're going to change the weather into Thunderstorm. No, we'll change the weather into Hurricane. What were we on? We're on Clear Skies. We'll change the weather to Hurricane. So this gives everyone Retaliate. When you change the Hurricane, remove 2 threat from a scheme, and then we can ready ourselves. So we just want to make sure it's not Clear Skies, because then Magneto gets Stalwart. Everyone gets Stalwart. Okay, we're still ready. We still have in our hand a Lightning Bolt, which might be overkill. In theory, everyone has Retaliate. Prof X will do 3 off of this, clearing it. So now we can do the main scheme. Bling will do 2 off of Factory. Beast will do 2 off the Factory. We are ready. I think we'll have to flip down and heal. We could definitely work on this a bit, but then Magneto activates against us. We are exhausted all our blockers. It might have been fine to like block with Blink. No, but Blink goes back into your hand. So we'll flip down and we'll recover 3. We're on 7. We'll pass. I don't think we'll hold on to this Lightning Bolt. I don't think it matters that much. Torrential Rain will deal with this, and we're going to draw into 1. There you go. Depth Focus, Torrential Rain. Blast of Wind is good for the table. Gentle, and a Flash Freeze. Oh, and 1 more card is Aurora's Garden. Actually, we will play that. This seems fine. And we'll take Bling back into our hand, because it was, to me, my X-Men. All right, we're trucking along. This is fun. This is good. I can do this. 2 threat. Magneto's confused. Pterosaur schemes for 0. Silly little bird. Land out of time. Okay, this thing has a lot of boost icons, so it probably has good text. If the Savage Land is in play, resolve its special ability and take 1 indirect damage for each resource icon on the discarded cards. Otherwise, find the Savage Land and reveal it. Luckily, we have Prof X, so we have to discard 3 cards. That's 1 icon. It's each resource, yeah. 2, 3. So we got rid of Weather Goddess, to me, my X-Men. We have to take 3 indirect damage, so we have to assign those to our characters. We cannot assign more than it has health. We'll do 2 to Prof X and then 1 to ourselves. So not too bad. Prof X was on the way out anyways. Okay, careful thing is when we deal with Seized, and we want to deal with Seized before we deck out, Magneto will activate against us. We, in theory, could do it in Alter Ego and get the thwart instead of the attack, but if we have a chump blocker, the attack is fine. What is our play here? Torrential Rain clears all of the threat off the table, so we just want to be able to block with someone, and actually it's a really good time to play Bling, because Bling can block to exhaust the block, and then can do it again. When it readies immediately. So we definitely want to play Bling. That's 1 + 2. We definitely want to play Torrential Rain. So if we play Depth Focus, it's Depth Focus in 1. That means we're a card short of playing Aurora's Garden. Unless we flip up at some point and go to Clear Skies, which might be fine. Yeah, so I think we have to work a Clear Skies in here. So I'm going to assume we did the math right. Let's just make sure we do the math. So say Flash Freeze plays Aurora's. We heal for 2. We're pretty healthy. Then we flip up. We play Gentle for Depth Focus. We draw a card. Then we do card plus Depth Focus for Torrential Rain. No, we're short a resource with Blast of Wind. Oh no, we have Crown. Yeah, we can do it. So I'm pretty sure we can do this. I'll play Aurora's Garden for 1. This card comes into play, Alter Ego action, heal 2 damage from your identity. We'll do that. So we'll restore 2. We're at 8. I won't heal up more. I think that's enough for us. We will flip up to Storm. Here, everybody has Retaliate, which is not the best. However, we're kind of incentivized to play Torrential Rain here, but we need to play... Oh, hold on. We need to play Bling first. So I guess we actually don't do the kicker on Torrential Rain. Yeah, I don't think we do. So we'll attack for 2, defeating the pterosaur. Don't take retaliate because we defeated it. Then we'll change the weather. Clear skies, so we can draw a card. We'll ready ourselves with our cape. We drew Weather Goddess. So we actually can jump back to the rain. I don't think we do. So I think we do Weather Goddess for Depth Focus. This generates a resource for superpowers. Almost all our events are, if not all. We need to play Bling. So we'll play Bling for 1-2. When Bling comes into play, has a toughness. Then we'll Depth Focus on Storm's Crown for Torrential Rain. This just says remove 3 threat from a scheme. So we'll remove 3 from Seized. When Seized goes, it says Magneto activates against you. The player who defeated the scheme discards the cards underneath. So we get all our cards back. Luckily, we get Uncanny X-Men. That is definitely something we want. And this is finally discarded. So then Magneto's going to attack for 3 and a card. We'll block with Bling, who's tough. There is the life drain, so it's 5 damage. That just takes the toughness off. We don't have retaliate here. All right, Beast is probably going to be a chump block. Are we going to deck out? We're not going to deck out, so I'm okay chump blocking with Beast. It's the same as chump blocking with Bling, but we want both of them in the bin. So I think we'll chump block with Beast here. And then we'll just wart for 2. Lightning Bolt count. I think both of our Lightning Bolts are out. Is there one? Yeah, both Lightning Bolts are out, so we're not going to have a lot of big damage. I feel like trading 2 damage into retaliate 1 feels kind of silly, so Beast is not going to do anything. Man, we've done very little damage to Magneto, but I don't know. We've actually, at least now we've recovered and dealt with all the side schemes. Oh, this goes up to 2, very importantly. Beak, X-Gene, To Me My X-Men, Cyclops, Triage, okay? Flexible pile of cards. This goes to 1, and Magneto's going to attack for 3 and a card. We'll block with Beast. Boost icons, it's the Eye of Sauron, 4 damage. Beast is defeated. Still haven't seen that T-Rex yet. This goes up to 3, and now we discard cards until there's a magnetic card. The Eye of Sauron. There's the T-Rex. Claustrophobia. It's a cool obligation. Okay. We saw a lot of the magnetic cards already. Uh-oh. This is not magnetic. This is not magnetic. The Master of Magnetism isn't magnetic. Great. This one is. Oh, this one actually just shreds us. This is a really scary card. And this is where like the order of removing the counters before or after I think really matters. This just does a bunch of damage. This is Metal Shards. Okay, apparently I've deleted the card version of this, so I have to read it. Deal 1 damage to each character you control. Place 1 magnet counter on the main scheme. Oh, that's not that bad. So this is 1, and then we take 1. And then we place 1 onto here, and then we discard 3, so it goes down to 1. That wasn't that bad. Our encounter card, Dark Designs. Oh, that's not good. Not you. Hopefully never you. Place 1 pursuit counter. Magneto schemes. So for 2 and a card. 2 boost icons, so this goes up to 5. 6 would advance. And back to us. All right. We're going to deck out. So we want to get Blink in the bin. To Me, my X-Men doesn't do anything. Having a bunch of allies here is also not the best because they won't enter the bin. So we can't play X-Gene. We could definitely change to Hurricane mode. I don't know what we're doing. Here's where we have to start considering doing damage. The problem is we don't do a lot of damage. Cyclops might change that math a bit. But we could easily play Triage for 2. Then we could do Crown for Beak. And then just lose a bunch of X-Men to the cycle. I don't love that. We're going to get Blink into the bin for sure. So I think there's no way that we don't just do 2 off of this with Blink. Blink will hit the cycle. We are incentivized to change the weather. We could give Magneto +1 attack and just start doing damage back. I think that's kind of fine. So then we'll thwart for 2. Shout out to our Crown. And then I think we're just going to change the weather and we're going to go a bit aggro here. So we're going to change to Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm, when you change to it, does 2 damage. So we'll zap Magneto for 2. Incredibly conductive electricity. So down to 13. And now we ready with the cape and we have, everybody has +1 attack. So now we're attacking for 3. And I think attacking for 3 is what we're going to do here. So we're going to attack for 3 and then we take retaliate 1. So we're down to 6. Magneto's down to 10. All right, let's start playing some cards. We'll play Triage for 1, 2. When Triage enters play, we can heal an X-Men. So we'll heal 2 off of us. Triage will be our chump blocker. Now Triage has +1 attack, but if Triage attacks, it's He's defeated to retaliate plus consequential, so triage will just thwart for 1. Then with this hand, we could play Beak. Beak is useless, but we actually could get Beak back into the bin. Would I rather have Beak back in the bin or Triage back in the bin? I'd rather have Triage back in the bin. So we'll pay 2 for Beak instead. Wait, big dice. We're on the big dice gang now. So if that's the case, Beak's ability will remove the threat. And then Triage will attack for 2 and get defeated by consequential and retaliate. So then instead we'll do 2 damage to Magneto. And then Triage will be defeated, which means we have 1 fewer chump blocker, but it'll be back in the deck cycle. And then we'll just pass here. Beak will be ready. Because if we attack, we get defeated. All right, draw another encounter card. We got Rain as our last card. We have an encounter card waiting. And we'll shuffle up. I think we're turning a corner. A corner is being turned. There's a chance we'll get our Nemesis, I guess, again. It did sneak up really quickly. So we know the one that adds 3 counters is not going to show up. It's in pretty far deep in the counter discard pile. We only have like, it feels like 5 or 6 cards. Yeah, before we cycle through the deck. So we'll have the shuffle soon. All right. Blast of Winds, that's an AoE damage card. To me, my X-Men's fine. Weather Goddess and Forge. Forge now could hit a setup card, but we wanted something way more impactful than this hand. We need to start hitting our lightning bolts. All right, this goes up to 1. Magneto attacks for 4 in a card. Beak will step into duty. Knife Fight, nice, not to draw that. So that's 6 damage. Feeding a Beak. Magnetic counter +1. We draw 2 encounter cards. We can block once if we need to. M-type Sentinel. Okay, this thing is actually really important to get rid of because if it stays around too long, it gets thrown at us. It has 5 health and toughness, and when defeated, Magneto gets a toughness. So we'll deal with that sooner than later. Oh no, Sauron is back. Once again, Sauron has returned. So this is, at least we have the AoE damage for this turn. But when revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for life drain attachment and reveal it. So I think Sauron is going to activate against us. Sauron has defeated us once already today. Life drain is a heck of a card. I think this encounter card discard pile is actually getting slightly too big for this. Oh, why is Beak in there? Okay, good catch. Andre, what are you doing? So Beak is in the discard pile. This is life drain. Reveal it, okay. Attach this minion to the minion with the highest printed hit points. So it's going to be Sauron, but it was close. It activates against you, okay. And it says, when attached enemy attacks you, take 2 damage and give the attacking enemy a tough status card. So Sauron is attacking us. We have to just take 2 damage. And then Sauron is attacking us for 3 because of the +1 off of Thunderstorm. So our Thunderstorm is hurting us. We could consider blocking here. Yeah, we need to defeat Sauron. We probably can with Blast of Wind. Blast of Wind does 3 damage plus 2 damage. So we do 3, 3, 3. We probably play Forge first to take the toughness off, and then we do 3, 3, 3, 2. We need to defeat Sauron at all costs. We cannot let that fire again. So Sauron's attacking for 3. Do we block for 2? Or do we want to be ready for 2? We ready for 2, we attack for 3, then we just blow it up. So we actually could just take the damage here. We don't have a Confuse coming up, and Magneto is going to still hit hard, but we do have a chump block in this hand. Classic leadership. So I think we'll just take the damage. We'll take 3. We're down to 3. That's all Sauron does, right? This says takes 2 damage and gives attacking enemy. Oh, it has a tough. Yeah, right. Does that change anything? No. It doesn't, but it makes it more important that we're ready. Okay, so what can we do here? What can we do here? Blast of Wind is nice. We can do 3 damage to everyone. The problem is we have 2 toughnesses. So it's probably more important that we can change the weather twice. So one of the weather changes take a toughness off. One of the weather changes draws us a card. So I think we start with that. I think we start with Weather Goddess. Wait, how much resources do we have? Depth Focus plus Storms plus a card plays Blast of Wind. And then we can play 2 cards for Forge. That gives us a card. So maybe we... Like, I just don't have the chance of hitting off too many of my X-Men. If too many of my X-Men whips, we're in a really bad spot. That's for sure. Defeating Sauron's the most important because every time Sauron attacks, it's really quite bad for us. Is that character being held? Thumbelina? Who is this character? That seems like this character, no? Kind of? Maybe I just see pink short hair and think of the same character, but I don't know what that's about. Okay, So we need to get out of this. We need to play Blast of Wind. That'll be 1, 2 plus a card. That's 3. We can do Weather Goddess to draw a card, which cycles a card. And then we can jump back to do 2 damage. That'll ready us. So we do 2, 2. Then we do 3. We ready 2. So we'll have an M-type Sentinel still around, unfortunately. In theory, Forge could take off one of the toughnesses, which actually saves a bit of damage. So Forge takes off the toughness. This goes to 1. We attack for 3. So this gets defeated. Then we flip and do 2. Yeah, I think we'll do that. So I think we just play Forge. So we're going to do Storms. Plus, I don't care, Torrential Rain to play Forge. Comes in. 2 health. Search for an X-Men X for support. I'm actually going to grab one that we don't intend to play. If we found Utopia, we'd probably play it. But the X-Jet is just going to be a card in our hand. We'll discard to a resource. Taking bad cards out of your deck or cards you don't want is actually super important. Okay. I think Forge is now going to attack for 2. And just take the toughness off of Sauron. Okay. Now we're going to attack for 3. Into Sauron. And then we're going to change the weather. I think we're going to do it with Weather Goddess. So Weather Goddess just allows us to change the weather and do its special. So we'll change to Clear Skies for a moment there and draw a card. Uncanny X-Men. Oh, that's awkward. And then we can ready ourselves. So now I'm assuming... Do we attack for 2? Yeah, I guess we attack now for 2. So now we're going to attack for 2 into the M-type, taking the toughness off. And then we'll do Death Focus plus the X-Jet plus to me my X-Men for Blast of Wind. Oh, first, before we do that, unless we draw a double, we'll change the weather one more time. So we'll change the weather to Thunderstorm. That once we change this using the basic, we deal 2 damage. So that'll do 2 damage to this. And then we'll do Blast of Wind. It says choose a player, us, deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with that player. So we do 3 damage to Magneto. And we wipe out both of these. When M-type is defeated, we give Magneto a toughness. And then once this is done, resolve the special ability on your weather support. So these are all from here. So that means we can do 2 damage to Magneto, which takes the toughness off of Magneto. It might have been okay to draw a card instead, but I don't think we're going to do anything with 1 card. All right, we could consider flipping down on 3 health with 1 chump blocker. It's only slightly risky. I don't know how many Sinister Strikes. It's really hard to dig through the deck because it's too big. We'll definitely hold on to this, but we're weak to Sinister Strike. At least we have 2 block. But Thunderstorm is actually making Magneto a bit more frightening. I think we'll just pass here. If we're ever really scared, we can jump down, and that means that we'll push this off 1 more turn as well. Magneto's going to scheme. This will go to 2. Magneto scheme 3, 4. It's likely that Magneto hits a double boost. Triage, Torrential Rain, Team Building Exercise, Weather Goddess. Okay, this goes to 2. Flipping down might be reasonable. If we get another activation, we're probably cooked. Magneto attacks for 4 and a card. We'll block with Forge. Boost icon, it's wrapped in metal, so that's 6 damage. Forge is defeated. This gets its 3rd counter. So we discard cards. We might whiff. Dark Designs, nice. Okay, we didn't whiff. That's the bad one, right? Wait, this is the one that does a lot of damage. This is Electric Shock. Okay, the deck is going to be empty this phase. So we have to reveal this. This says, you are stunned. Okay. Take 1 damage for each magnet counter of the main scheme. Really? We're just taking 3 damage from this? That's how our game ends? That's how the stream ends? We just reveal an Electric Shock off the top deck? Was there another magnetic card in here? Oh my god, there was 2 Electric Shocks! We were so cooked. Yeah, this is why like the order on Factory actually really does matter. Factory online, because you reveal the card before you remove the counters. So you reveal the magnetic card and then did this. If we check the deck, we should have known 2 of these were coming up. When I saw Metal Shards, I thought it was this card because this card rips through you if there's too many magnet counters. So in theory, the play was to flip down to Alter Ego. And then this would advance. You are confused. Place 1 threat on the main scheme for each magnet counter on it. So drawing these at the worst time is obviously really quite bad. But yeah, F. That was going good. Worked by the counter deck twice in 1 stream. Yeah, this is huge. It's massive. And I think we should have like played around these. There's 2 of these in the deck and they're super, super important. I failed to count the deck when it is this big, unfortunately. But that's a big F for us. I think we actually had something going here. Like things were getting really cool. This hand is like not great. Uncanny X-Men, we definitely want to get down, but we have like a bit of healing. We can probably flip down here. I think we had Magneto. We had Magneto. Once Magneto advances to Magneto 3, not to Magneto 2.6, but Magneto 3, we get another encounter card. We had the same tech, so we just have to do 22 damage. At this point, we're like relatively well set up. Oh man, it feels bad. We should have checked the encounter deck. But that's unfortunately going to be it for today. That was fun though. I do think the dinosaurs in this encounter deck, I don't know, we didn't see a lot of them. I do think it might make more sense in Zola because Zola actually draws through the deck pretty aggressively and cares about like discarding for minions. The minions felt kind of like, I don't know, they were okay, but I honestly think our Morlock enemy was a bigger deal in that matchup. All right, that's probably going to be it for today. We should have another video up on Monday in which we continue playing some Magic. It's been really, really fun. I think it might get too hard that we have to maybe jump it down to standard because protection, solo protection is really difficult. I think the deck is slowly transitioning to be a perfect block deck because we're getting more, turns out we're getting higher and higher block the more that we get our shield upgrades and go through that sort of reputation track. Damn it, Magneto. Savage Land. I think that's it. Hopefully you've been enjoying this. If you've been watching the stream, love any feedback. If you want to leave a like on the stream, that helps a heck of a lot. We'll be back on Monday if all things go well with the video. Otherwise, tomorrow on the Metroball Grid, Pat will be joining us for a stream. We're not streaming Netrunner, we're streaming Neuroscape TCG, which is a collectible card game. It's kind of like a cyberpunk Magic. I've actually like played the demo decks and thought it was better than I thought it would be, which ends up so we'll play it on stream. That'll be again on the Metroball Grid. But that's mostly it. I'm going to do a quick check right now. Hold on. Live reaction to whether or not we have access to Silk and Shuri. No. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much for hanging out. We'll be back in the next one. Take care, y'all. Ciao.